This content is comprised of sworn statements during a trial and may contain material that some individuals may find offensive or inappropriate. Viewer discretion is advised. It might include graphic imagery, language, or themes of a sexual nature, including those depicting underage individuals that could be unsettling or triggering for some audiences. The depiction of sensitive or controversial themes, including underage sexual themes within the context of sworn statements during a trial, is intended solely for the purpose of presenting factual information for legal proceedings. It is important to note that while humor might be used within this content, it is not intended to disregard the seriousness of the issue. Humor may be employed to alleviate discomfort or tension related to the subject matter without undermining the gravity of the topic. Neither YouTube nor this channel condones or promotes any of the behavior or themes depicted within this content. By choosing to engage with this content, you acknowledge and accept that it might contain material unsuitable for certain audiences. Viewer discretion is strongly advised, especially for younger audiences or individuals sensitive to explicit or sensitive content presented in a legal context.
Hey, that made it
Welcome
easy.
to the shit show, y'all. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. I need this warning or warning similar. Yeah, I can always get you one. I could just send you this one over. It's pretty straightforward.
Well, I didn't even think about having a warning, but it seems as though I need to explain
how this works.
How humor is not intended to be crass in any way, but this is how I deal with hard feelings. It's called grave or gallows humor. It's what we've been employing for centuries.
Yes.
Ring around the rosy, that kind of thing.
Yes. They don't quite get it sometimes though. Good to see Eris hanging out. We got the feral early Mo raid.
Yes.
Oh, and of course Mo. Hey y'all, wait, test out Taylor. Oh my bug. Yeah, she's. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh well, yeah. I had to. I actually had to learn how to do a smoky eye real quick, and then touch it up because she started crying because she's a crier.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it was a short little 4-minute video, but I was like, oh, she's going to be a fun one. She's going to be our hall monitor content correspondent from now on, as long as I don't get a cease and desist.
Well, and Taylor doesn't look bad for an 80-year-old woman. I think she's, doing pretty good.
How dare you? She is a Gen Y. She still gets carded. She's only 19 and a half, allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Her and Kara Lake both of you learned how to use the filters.
Hey, if I look half as good as Carrie Lake, actually, I think we're the same age. I don't know.
When you take the filters away, you can see the wrinkles, but that's nothing wrong with that. I think that's beautiful. That's be happy.
It's called age. It's called nature. Exactly. I mean,
right.
I
mean, she still has a pretty fit body outside of that. I mean, she ought to be proud of that. That whatever.
Yeah.
She has some great legs and.
Yeah, and she's pretty snappy. And I mean, she recorded her friend allegedly threatening her ish. So.
Well, sort of bribing her that he handed in his resignation. Just like, yeah, you don't want to. You really don't want to run for this Senate seat. That was a little while ago. Of course, it only becomes news, whenever it's expedient. That's the trick.
She should send him a bunch of Reese hearts.
Oh, she should. Like a truckload of them.
Like, wasn't there that time Murphy Brown sent Dan Quayle a bunch of potatoes because he got the spelling thing wrong, and he had made fun of her for depicting single motherhood as good in her show, and Look,
Oh
it's
my God. These people, they really are something. And,
look,
I say that with all kinds of love.
I say it with the fact that I'm gonna have like 17 what in the rapture jars full of craziness, when I have my end of year, what was the crazy news stories. January is going to be the first 5 hours. Fry's stalking Thor. Thor desperately wants to get on my lap, and Fry's like, I is the animal sidekick now. Yes. No, I'm never going to get over the Reese's Cups. I'm sorry, it's too hilarious. Uh, Thor and Fry are having a great time. Well, they're playing allegedly.
This is what happens whenever you touch the wrong button. Too many buttons.
Okay, I will try to go get him, but it will be a fight as soon as it happens.
And yeah, go on and see if I can save this. There we go. Excellent. Silly me opened up the wrong damn thing.
Fry, stop now. No, you're going to get your butt kicked, sir. Don't.
Yeah, maybe that's what he wants. He just wants a good ass whooping.
All right, well, Thor is hiding. This is Loki, and we're about to see epic cat fight. Oh, well, no, you bite his tail. Look, all right. Hey, I am not holding. Okay, both of you go play away from me.
we ain't playing that stuff. Oh my.
Loki is like, no.
No, we ain't playing that, woman. Share that. There we go. And I think that should work. Maybe. There we go. Full screen. Boom. Now we got it.
Now, is this her very first interview, like right after it happened, or is this when she's bringing her daughter into?
This is when. Well, this is her daughter's here also for this. So towards the very end. So
Okay.
I'm assuming. I didn't know there was another. This has to be the second interview.
Okay.
So why do you feel like he's tracing? Like what led you to that?
Actually, I should probably bring this out back then. Okay.
So
how's that for sound? Too loud? Good.
Does it have closed captions or?
Yeah, I can set up the closed captions.
Okay.
Yeah, closed captions are on.
Okay, I think it could go yeah, I think it's good.
Okay.
I feel like he's maybe tracing. Okay.
So why do you feel like he's tracing? Like what led you to that?
Actually, I should probably bring this out back then. Okay.
Oh, and see what sort of throws me off on this, and I noticed this. She's got her phone like on the freaking ready, plus like a little notepad, like of all the stuff that she's going to tell the popo.
See, old me would have not needed a phone. New me would need a phone. So that in and of itself doesn't seem suspicious as of yet. Now, given the fact that I already hate her ass, I'm given to want to be suspicious. But if I'm trying to be objective, if she's bad at memory or she's wanting to give exact dates and times that she supposedly found the GPS thing or whatever,
It's exact texts. Like it seems like her story is like pre-planned. To me, this is how I viewed it. It took a while. Like during this part of it, you don't notice it right away, but as it goes on, you're just like, oh my God, I understand some people are OCD where they write down everything, but it is like she has day by day by day, like walking them through like this path to get them to this final path. Almost like she spent like, but and it's so disjointed because there'll be it's like she doesn't have memory of these things, but she has memory of things that, and you'll see it later on. You'll see it whenever
Well,
she's talking about going to Rosalio's apartment.
I
That's
want
what
to,
screws
yeah,
me
I
up.
want to see how she reacts because people, I take copious notes. I kind of do that. But if I were worried that my ex-husband, say, when I was getting out of an abusive relationship and I thought that there were, some signs of people going through my emails and looking like that, I kept documents of that. Had I had to go to the police, I think I would have had notes, but I think I would have still displayed a lot of anxiousness. Like, look, I have this, but I think I would have been much more nervous. She's very matter of fact about that. She's not displaying anxiety about it. She's not fearful in a way that I feel like if you were worried that someone was stalking you, that you had this pervasive fear of a very aggressively jealous ex-lover who has not let you move on with your life. It's a it's a cloak. It's something that pervades your entire life. You look around, you make sure you're not being followed. You check your car, you check your house, you check your emails, you make sure it's hard to explain, but
Well,
it's
and you
not so
also
much
don't invite them into your house. You don't invite them to
yeah, it
store stuff at your house.
it's just and I don't want to say that my experience would be everyone's experience, but it just, to me, it's not coming off. And you would think an experienced detective who has maybe seen people that come in with, all right, ghostery, I want you to see this. Here he is. Not for long,
Oh,
probably
mm,
just because I'm wearing black.
no,
But
no.
she isn't, again, we're not, body language isn't, but you do become very self-protective. You kind of don't have a very self-assured posture like she does, like, oh, let me pull out my phone, let me have this ready for you. And it might just be the way that she deals with things. I'm trying to be a little bit objective. I'm just saying, in my personal experience, I don't think I would behave that way. I am
No,
very sorry. Eris, look, I'm going to blame Lyrica.
it's just
Now
called
you now you
grocery.
get my full-on kid experience. You know who you are.
Never,
You know
never.
who I'm talking to. You,
Mm-hmm, right.
Ewan's over
Mm-hmm.
there, which is
You,
y'all plus 3.
use,
Utes.
use. Let me do something real quick so I can edit this because I hate those live reactions. There we go. It 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 messes up my mods whenever they're trying to mod stuff. I always try to turn those off. Yeah. So, but if you it just you'll understand what I'm talking about once you sit through about the first 45 minutes to an hour, you're gonna go, oh my freaking god. Mm.
So, I don't even, where do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Oh, and this guy is no investigator, just so you know. Please investigate. He's not investigating at all.
Yes, I get,
Okay.
this is always a tough question. Where do we start, right?
Right. I guess
How long have you known him? We'll start there. When did you meet
Rosalia or
Zachariah?
Zach.
You know what? Let's go with Rosario.
Yeah, Rosalia.
When did you meet?
Yeah,
When
Why is he not writing anything
did you meet
down?
Rosario?
like I met him on Facebook.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Why is he not writing anything down? Because he'll have the tape to come back to.
Well, I
He
know
will
that, but
start typing, and it's going to drive you up the wall because he'll be typing everything that she says.
okay, generally, okay, I'm not a police officer because God in heaven, no one would trust me with a taser. But with the read technique, generally they have you write things down. So, you know, just for notes. I mean, you always have the video. That's the thing. But, the read technique is there and you write things down so that you look engaged. But we've skipped over these sort of building rapport start. And I know it's not an interrogation, but he's not built a baseline rapport with her to see if her body language or her tonation changes when she's maybe telling the truth or fabricating or exaggerating. He's done none of that. He's just sat down and said, "Hey, how do you know these people?" Which might be building rapport, but
She's not a suspect.
well, no, but she's also giving she's also giving a statement, and she could be involved. She was the first person on the scene.
They are not treating her as such. I guarantee you. If you
Well, I
watch
know
this, you'll
that.
see that they just do not treat her as such. They've already got their guy. At this point, they already have their guy. They're just getting all of this on the record for her statements to be on the record, and they don't show the video at all of any of this because it would all be hearsay. That's why none of this went in. Now, if the prosecution had brought any of this video and they could have showed it, but all you have is nitpicked stuff out of her statements. So, and that's according to David. So I'm just
Okay.
regurgitating what he had said.
We started talking through like the Facebook dating site or whatever, and then it was like February-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was so like right around Valentine's Day. He like sent me a text, Happy Valentine's Day or whatever. And then we just started kind of talking from there. Went out on a couple of dates. Started talking on the phone a lot more. We live like an hour away, so it was kind of hard.
Long distance thing.
Right. But like, he has kids and I have kids. So, like on the weekend or whatever, when we didn't have the kids.
Sure.
Or when Zach would take the kids. No. So I met him in February. And nobody really knew about him, other than my best friend. So, because it wasn't really like,
Sure.
anything big. And then I was leaving, I was going to Mexico.
So she met him in February. This is now March, May. So this is a very short period of time. Like, I think she's only been on 5 dates with the guy.
Well, and he didn't ask. So the next question I would have asked is, so is this a serious thing? Are you guys exclusive? Like, what is this relation dateship going to be? I mean, I think any woman detective would have said, "Hey, so what is the nature of your relationship? Like, are you serious? Are you
Semi-serious boyfriend, girlfriend? You just
what did you think the
what's
relationship
going on?
was? Like, had it gone beyond, texting? How did that go? I mean, because and maybe they're building up to that. Like, I was leaving for Mexico, whatever was going on
It says
there.
they took a trip to Mexico. It was just her and him, which seems just really odd if you've only been dating someone for like a couple
No.
weeks to leave the country with somebody.
Yeah, no, because what if he turns out to be a total douche and then you're stuck in Mexico?
No, well, if he does turn out to be a total douche, you can always, blame that on your husband.
Well,
If he
I
turns out to
mean,
be like not the guy that you thought he was going to be, and maybe do a little bit of cranial damage to him, you might as well
as
just you can
backup
always blame
plans,
your ex. Yeah, you got backup plans.
and people think I
Country,
have a
he fell
devious mind.
overboard. When you're in another country, he fell overboard. I know nothing of it. Yes, I know. There's shark infested waters. What can I say? Maybe he'll survive with a
Cabo,
limp.
what a dangerous place.
Yeah, horrible. Hey, Wolfram, good to see you. Glad you could make it in. Oh my. Oh my. Yeah, we'll get a lot of this little hesitation on the stuff. Usually what I do is I just hit refresh and it'll come back up.
Have Mac one?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Correct. I got there, so like the 4th, I think it was, or something. I think I even still have the text messages, but it was, oh, you're in Mexico. Then it was this big jealous thing of, you're down there messing around, screwing people and da 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 da. And I was there with.
See, just all this da 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 da, like just rattles off stuff that.
Did they
not great.
copy her phone? Did they download her
No.
phone?
No, I think they did
So-
do a phone dump at some point in time. But
So they're
here's the
taking
thing.
her word for gospel?
Yes, but here's the thing. My texts, they can download those. But what about my Facebook messages?
True.
What about, other messaging apps?
Well, does Snapchat delete those after 72 hours? I don't know how all the
Something like-
TikToks and the Snapchats.
I don't either, but at some point she says that she can't make or receive any phone calls inside here, but yet she's been texting people. Like,
The entire police department is a Faraday bag, ma'am.
no. She's what I'm saying. She might not be able to make phone calls in and out because the speeds would be really low. But there's a big possibility that she's sending out messages. So whenever it does get connected, that those messages go out. And it might take a while for her to get them and for them to go out. And
Yeah.
like I said, there's so many things that are disjointed. There's one point in here where she's talking to herself that seems really, really creepy. Like somebody sent her something and she's reading it off, and it's just sort of freakish.
Our twin boy's birthday is Christmas Eve. That day, he came over to the house and there was an argument. He was upset. Our daughter wasn't there the day before Christmas. He began throwing things out of my house. I had to call the cops to have them come and ask him to leave. So that was kind of a violent episode. That was not the first time.
And this was before you met Rosario, or
This is before.
the Christmas before?
This was, so 2019.
Okay.
So Christmas 2019. So that's December. So I didn't meet Rosalia until February.
Okay.
So painting this picture of him being violent, already right here, it's just like he's very violent. We have to call the police on him. And this becomes very important later. It doesn't seem like much at this point. It's just like, well, we know that they probably argued. They probably went at each other. As far as like, it's the same way that I look at it with Depp and Heard.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to make Johnny Depp to be out like, all he did was talk sweet nothings into Amber Heard's ear. I guarantee you have seen those kind of toxic relationships. No, he's probably yelling at her, not maybe physically hitting her, but yelling at her, being just calling her names, whatever, and just because they're heated moments and they needed those timeouts. And I can imagine the same thing would be happening in this situation. It's not all one-sided.
It was a dumpster fire. Look, they were both on fire, and then you put them together and it was a bigger dumpster fire.
Right.
They were a toxic relationship mix. Now she went out of her way and she laid hands on him, but he was just as far as making the relationship toxic, he could have walked away.
Right. But he would engage. It happens.
Yeah. And yeah. But she is laying the groundwork, putting that, framework in, like, look, even before I met him, he already was jealous, even when I went to Mexico, he was already, asking me if I was screwing around. Now, did she go to Mexico? let me guess, the reality of the Mexico story was she ran off to Mexico and didn't care about where the kids were and, left it to Zach to figure out stuff for the kids, is I'm guessing more the reality of the story, and was worried about partying or doing something like that.
Yeah,
And I'm guessing
very much.
the Christmas Eve, altercation was probably something more along the lines of her wanting to go out and have fun or something like that.
Or, or you wanted, or that split time between divorced parents is always a pain in the ass, because
Yeah.
you've got the father, especially if they're in the same town, because the father
Yeah.
might want to see him during, in the morning, but the mother wants to see him in the morning, and then her family and his family. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I understand those dynamics coming from a divorced family. I understand those
Yeah. So
dynamics.
it might have been less of a, him being jealous of me going out and us just having a blow up because it's, twin birthdays plus the holidays. Having a kid with a birthday close to Christmas, that is double stressful because not only do you have to budget for Christmas, you have to budget for a birthday, you have to make both things distinctly special, which is hard. And, it's plus,
Never really thought of that.
divorced and this heifer. I'm sure it's a cocktail of stupid.
Yeah, a cocktail of anger and stupid and, heated temperatures, and, it doesn't get cold enough in Kenosha to, cool the temperatures down enough, because they're probably crammed in the same little cubby holes and getting a little heated. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. And I never really thought about that, having the twins around the same time, how stressful that could make it on both of them. Damn, very astute.
But December was when Zach and I had that blowout, and we hadn't talked at all. Like, I kept my distance from him. I tried to file a restraining order. Washington County wouldn't order it. I had 7 pages worth of.
Washington
Okay.
Company wouldn't order it. Okay.
So I do wonder why they didn't. I do think that should warrant some investigation. I do want to see what she was trying to get, what she was trying to use to get a protection order. I wonder, they must have thought it was frivolous to not even look at it.
Right. And they probably looked at it as like, no, this is ex-husband, ex-wife, and she's doing this so he can't see the kids. And a lot of times they'll see through the stuff and they'll go, yeah, that's not how this is going to play
She,
out.
yeah, she does seem like the type to use the children as
Pawns.
weapons
Yes.
against the dad.
And that this was sort of what was a little bit disturbing to me, because whenever I saw a lot of the same things that she was doing, that my mother did, whenever my parents got divorced. And whenever I say a lot of the same things, I mean almost to a T, where she had us kids convinced how horrible our father was, where at one point I ran away, like jumped out of a moving car to get away from my father. That's how convinced I was how horrible of a person that he was. I mean,
And it's
I
so sad
it
because
is.
if she could get her head out of her rear end far enough. Okay, look, I am no saint, none whatsoever. But there was one thing I did. Look, my late husband did a lot of crappy things to me, and I was angry with him for a long time. For a long time. But the one thing I did not let people do was make fun of him or demean him in front of my girls,
No,
because my kids deserve to have
father.
a father that they could, look at. And when, the time came, I could be a little bit more real about his struggles. But, you know, that's still part of them. And to make part of them seem like an absolute piece of trash in front of them, I mean, what does a kid internalize about that? Look, it's okay to have you know, if your ex is a shitty, shitty person, I get it. But look, that was the one thing I tried to do. So my parents didn't agree with it. They didn't understand it. But that was the one thing I made them do. Not talk
Yeah,
about him like that in front of my girls.
no, because a lot of times, because then what will happen is, and you won't realize it, but you'll say something like, "Oh, you're just like your father." And if you've been calling them a shitty, 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 horrible person the whole time, you just called your child a shitty, shitty person. Like their whole
Yeah.
existence is shattered. You basically made them completely worthless and invaluable.
Yeah.
And like Era said, her ex-husband was an absolute ass. My kids are finally starting to figure it out on their own, and that's usually what it takes. Is let your
Yeah.
kids figure that out on their own, what kind of person that they are. That's what my father did with my mother, he's just like you just don't understand. And I remember him saying that whenever I was, younger, that you don't understand. Now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, I understand. She's like manic, like bipolar, weird.
Yeah.
She's like
And
cuckoo for
uh,
cocoa puffs.
well, that
Hey, fast cuckoo.
and to warp your to have the absolute it's like being your own little cult leader. I
Mhm.
it's gross. It's gross, and the the family court system really needs to get better. I'm not a men's rights activist by any
No.
means, but the family courts really need to start cracking down on women or men or any parent that does this to kids because it is lasting hurt.
Oh,
It
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 is.
is lasting trauma, and you know, we want to talk about lived experiences and trauma. This is stuff that breaks people down. This is stuff that breaks up families, and it needs to be, if you are a family court, it needs to be figured out. We need to stop, you know, just assuming that mothers are always the best option just because whammons.
Well, becoming you know, getting sent to drug rehab at a young age actually, wasn't the most pleasurable thing. It was a pretty shitty experience, but um, the counselor that I had there was probably the one that saved my life. And at the time, because I was at the end of my rope. I mean, if you want to talk about, the little school bully, what do you call 'em? I'm trying to put this in a nice way. The little guys that like to run into schools and pop the
Y-
people. Uh,
yeah,
I could have easily become that because that's where I was in my mind. I saw no escape from the situation I was in. Instead, I turned to drugs, which wasn't much better, but it could have easily led to a much worse outcome. And luckily, this guy pulled me aside and said, there are options. Let's explore those. Let's see what you can do because you're not a dumb kid. You're not this horrible, creature that your mother's making you out to be. You're not this evil demon child spawn. Let's find out what we can do because first thing we got to do is get you out of this situation that you're in.
yeah,
You're in a predicament where you've got a horrible person for a mother, and you recognize it. You're not blind to it. You recognize it, and you've not seen any way out of it. So let's find you a way out of it. So someone like that is what these kids really need, is someone that's going to point them and give them the right direction. And being it took many years for me to get past that, of because you still love your mother, you still love your father.
yeah,
And I had to, at 19, I had to walk away from ever speaking to my mother again and letting her into my life at all. It is, and it's a horrible thing to have to do. And a lot of people don't understand that. Whenever you're just like, yeah, we don't talk. Well, maybe you could make amends. No, I tried that. That was that, and as an adult, I tried it. It wasn't easy, and I'm just like,
There's
I care for myself too much then to destroy the love that I have for my mother, which I think doing so would probably just, I probably will go and dance on her grave, but you know,
there's a
that's just me.
you can love someone and not like them. You can you can
Right.
you can put up boundaries, and you can know that someone can love you. Look, my mom doesn't quite understand what I'm doing here. So I was really excited, and I tried to tell her what I was doing and all the things, and she's like, "Are you going to get a real job?" And it really hurt my feelings. And then I realized, look, that she's just not a safe space to tell her these things.
Mhm.
And it's okay. Look, she is her. She is who she is, and she loves me the way she can, and that's okay. But it's not maybe how I need to be seen. And I've got people that see me for who I am, and they love me for who I am, and that's okay. So, your parents might not always be who you need them to be. You just
Right.
have to find your own family sometimes. And you can love them from afar. It's just,
Mhm.
look, sometimes you end up being the one like alien in your family. It's not your
Yeah.
fault.
Oh, well, it wasn't just me. It was my older brother, my older sister, my younger brother, my younger sister,
Oh,
my
okay.
eldest
Well,
brother. Everybody
then your
saw.
mom's the alien and y'all
Yes,
just emancipated yourself. But
pretty
she
much.
sounds
Which
deeply
is,
toxic, and
yeah.
if she's not willing to change, then you can't make that's what when you are in love with an addict or someone who has toxic behavior, if they're not willing to change, you can't make them, and
No,
you
no.
will kill yourself trying to get them to change before they change, and they don't want to.
This is awesome. Yes, I've thrown popcorn all over the place as Wolfie tries to dodge the incoming popcorn seeds. Oh, popcorn
Welcome to
freedom
our group
seeds.
therapy
Right.
section or session as we
Well, well,
it's
it's so. My point was with say everything that I'm seeing, the kind of stuff that she's pulling, I see that same behavior, and I have to keep reminding myself, no, this isn't the same person. And as soon as I do that, it's like she says all of those things that are setting off
sh-
all those alarm bells that I'm just like, I know this person. I have seen this
she
behavior before. It is
sh-
horrible. And she is doing this kind of crap to her kids, and they don't even know it until they're older. And then they'll go, what in the fuck did I just experience all this time? And this is my fear for Zach, if he never makes it out of prison, and these kids grow up in and see the kind of person that she is, and really see the kind of person
yeah.
that she is, they're going to go, oh my God, what did I do to my father? What did my
Well,
mother do to my father? And by then, decades have gone by.
what I will say, and I'm trying to choose my words because I haven't listened or interacted with Solomon and Zach as much as you guys have. But my initial impressions from both of them is that should that come to pass, should decades happen, and any of the kiddos come to them and say, I am so sorry, I think both of them will just open their arms
Oh,
and
yeah.
forgive them. So that
I,
is comforting to me, at least in
yes.
knowing that I think that that is going to be a safe place for those kids. But my worry is, and I've seen women like this all my life too. I mean, every woman has had that single mom friend who does all of the damn shenanigans, and you are like,
Oh,
for the
yes.
love of all that is holy, Shanann, would you just get your life in order? You know,
Yeah.
could you, you know, it's never her fault. The baby daddy, is good. He's trying to be a good man. And she's like, but he won't pay me all the child. And you're like, but he brought you diapers and everything else. And he's working two jobs. Oh, but girl, and you're just like, I don't know. and usually I end up cutting those people out of my life because nothing is ever good enough for them.
Right.
And it becomes, a never-ending drama, emotional vampire story. But we've all known people like this, and the kids are the ones that get hurt, and it's just
Yeah,
it.
and her lack of concern for the kid is, I think, what, or for the
And that's the
kids.
part that really bothers me as a mom. That's you can be a gross person on your own, and I can dislike you for your grossness on a personal level, but you bring your kid into it, we are talking next level despicable.
This is something you know I'm glad we watched this very beginning portion of it again, because something just occurred to me throughout almost all this interaction. It is all about her and the oldest daughter. Like the twins are almost a second thought. Like there's no place for them, and that's sad to me. I just now realized that.
W- Was
it,
Zach closer to the boys, do you think?
I think it was close with all of them. And but those boys were pretty young. What were they? 3 at the time? 4?
She might not have been able to manipulate them. She seems okay. What I'm gathering is that she uses people,
Yes,
manipulates people, and they really have no use to her right now other than,
they
hey,
exist.
I found this, you know, GPS thingy or this cell phone thingy in one of their car seats. But I mean, other than like think poor me, single mom me, I mean, right now they can't testify, they can't say, daddy touched me in a bad place unless she coaches them.
Right,
They really can't do anything for her. So right now she's focusing on the kid that can do something for her, that she
right.
can train.
That's what I'm seeing too.
What are you
That's
playing with?
creepy. That is so creepy.
History of why I needed this restraining order. I was afraid, and they let it go. He kind of gloated in that.
Could you type any
And
louder, sir?
then
Get a more clackety.
he came and
More
talked to me and said,
clackities.
hey, I gotta
It's like
go
he's
take
working
care
for the
of some
damn
stuff out west,
airport.
and I'm gonna be leaving. And I said, fine, I said, but I just want you to know, like, I'm done, with the relationship. Like, I don't,
So that was the official split in the relationship?
yeah, like I basically said, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want,
That's when he ended it.
yeah,
Okay.
before I went to Mexico, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and I kind of was like, if this is where our worlds are at, like, I don't want to live like this. This is
Okay, wait. So
not the
she's
first time.
dating. So
So I was
she's
kind of,
with Zach, but she's dating Rosario at the same. Or
Yes.
they split up
Oh, they're
Christmas Eve,
divorced.
and then she got with Rosario Valentine's Day.
Right. I think they've been separated for a period of time. From what I
Okay, so
gather, they've
but
been
that was like
separated.
done.
Yeah, the
Okay, all right.
that was the done part. Like
Okay,
we're done. And what sort of set this stuff off was custody, getting custody of the kids. Okay, so this is
now
this is this is where you see the custody stuff really start to shine through here. Yeah, Zach had a girlfriend. They sort of moved on.
okay,
Both of
okay,
had moved on from one another. Although he would still come by and spend a little bit of time. He might be in the house, spending time with the
okay.
kids. Uh, which is it's screwy to me, but I do understand the dynamic. You're going to do
Yeah,
that if you're wanting the father to have time with the kids. So
yeah. No,
I'm
that.
giving her the benefit of the doubt on this. And same way as
Well,
if he was at his place, you would probably spend time. They were kind enough to each other for the kids,
Well, and
unless they weren't.
think of how expensive it gets if you are on a tight budget. I mean, eh, let's say you are doing child support, you're a dad, you're having to pay rent plus all the expenses. I mean, taking them out to McDonald's every weekend, doing that. I mean, if they're still cordial and you can go to the house, I mean, say, "Hey, can I, bring over a couple things of groceries, make a dinner there?" I
Right.
mean, that seems like something, if you could be human to each other, that would be great.
For long enough to, be like, I only have to deal with you for a short period of time. We're not going to talk about the things that are going
Yeah.
to trigger us. We're going to have a meal with the kids, and then you're gonna go and take them with you, and I'm gonna have my weekend kind of thing. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
My parents couldn't do that at all, but I've seen parents that could. So
Yeah.
Done. That's why I went for the restraining order.
the American dreamer, good to see you. Glad you could make it.
Then, so right before I was leaving for Mexico, I did not tell him I was leaving for Mexico because I had fears of him going after the kids, because if he knew I was gone, he would try to take the kids, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay, so she did not leave the kids with him.
I
But
don't like
he went
that.
and got the kids. He went and picked up the kids. So I think she left the kids with one of her good friends, one of her close friends. I think the one that probably came in
No.
and testified. I'm just telling you what they did, not what they
Yeah.
should have done. What she should have
Oh,
done is
yeah,
sent the
yeah.
kids to be with
No,
their
I'm
father.
just it bothers me that, look, good friends, I understand, but good friends could have a boyfriend, could have a party, could
Yeah,
okay. And he doesn't know she's going to Mexico, so
Right.
she's out of the country. The kid, have you met my youngest, most feral? Say youngest kid, bonks his head, has a concussion, needs to go to the hospital. They don't know insurance information. They don't know
Right.
that stuff. They'd have to get a hold of Zach or her. She's in Mexico pounding down, I don't know,
Coronas.
margaritas with Rosario.
Or she's probably pounded down something, but it ain't.
I
Trust
hate
me,
people.
that comes out later with him.
So he was at my house the day before I left for Mexico, or 2 days. He said he was going out of town. I said, okay. I said, well, I'm heading out of town. I said, well, exchange the kids when I get back. I'll be back on Tuesday of the next week. He's like, yeah, okay. Nothing. Then the second day I was in Mexico, he
When was this?
March 3rd, I got there, so like the 4th, I think it was, or something. I think I even still have the text messages, but
Okay.
It was, oh, you're in Mexico. Then it was this big jealous thing of, you're down there messing around, screwing people and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was there with all friends that I knew, and it was I wasn't down there with anybody that he even didn't really know. But anyways, had a big jealous fit about that. Showed up at my house where my best friend was watching her kids at 3:45 in the morning. Came into the house because my friend smoked cigarettes, so she forgot to lock the front door when she went out, so she just closed it.
This is your house.
My house, while I was in Mexico. My friend Becky was there watching the kids. The kids were sleeping. He came in, stood over her. She woke up to him standing there, and he's like,
I'll take things that never
Rebecca.
happened for 400, Alex.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. There's a possibility that he has a key to the house.
Yeah, but him standing over her,
I don't see it.
she is shading this in the worst way possible.
Right.
First of all, he wouldn't need a key to the house because she left the door unlocked. So, ma'am, keep your story straight. You're dealing with someone who listens to logic and couldn't watch the Avatar movies because they made no effing sense.
Well, they didn't. The first one, I was like, okay, this is stupid. I don't understand.
The second one was even dumber because how in the world do you have a former military space monkey purple blue guy not set up, effective, space deterrence, because people are assholes and they're going to come back and try to kick ass.
Don't know.
And why do you molest, whales?
And no,
with
this
your
would be a
tail
very
penis?
bad idea. I do not
Yeah,
ever
no.
suggest doing some crap like this. This will get your ass in so much trouble. Don't do
And
it.
it will set back Zach getting any justice because it will
Yes.
make the quest for Zach getting an appeal and everything else look like a bunch of crazy, unhinged people who are just trying to, set this poor woman up, and she will use this as extra super duper GoFundMe victim points. Do not do this.
So Zach showed up with his laundry. If he remembers right, he was allowed to still do his laundry there. So he might have showed up at 10 o'clock at night and lady was asleep. And he was like, who in the hell are you? You know,
I could see.
might
I
walk past this person. It's like, why is this person in here? Maybe she was asleep on the couch and he's just like standing there and just like, what the hell is going on?
well, you would.
Where's my ex? Where is the kid's mother? Why is this person with my kids? I don't know this person. Oh no, I think that's oh yeah, that's Rebecca or Becky, whatever her name is.
Yeah, that seems much more
More
plausible than
plausible.
he used a key on an unlocked door and loomed over her like
While
Lurch,
she was in a darkened bedroom and you just see the shadow of a man standing over you.
breathing like.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, she's painting the picture pretty dark. You little bastard.
And he
Emotional
and her
support
did not get
beverage.
along. But
Oh,
it's another
there you go.
story. And then so she's kind of like, what? And then he's like, she's in Mexico and you knew about this and she's whoring around and blah 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 blah. I don't know if she could. She's more than happy to tell you what he else said. And then
She looks like she'd hold
he went upstairs to his room and
Looks like she didn't wash her.
told me that he woke her up and he started questioning her and asking her, who's Leo? Who's Leo? Well, it's Rosalio. I call him Leo. He's Leo in my phone.
Why is he Leo?
Was it?
Leo is what I
Oh,
was calling
Rosalio.
him in
Okay,
my
never
phone.
mind. I
Okay.
answered my own
Um,
question.
And asked, who's Leo? Who's Leo? And then she was like, I don't know, or whatever. Now, that was in March, so I had met Rosalio already in February.
Mhm.
How,
You never brought it up to him.
So met Rosario in, we'll just say Leo, in a short period of time. She's like out there, choking it down. Hey, good morning, Gutter Girl. How you doing? Gutter's Pub. So they divorced in December. She's dating by February, and she's leaving town, like going to Mexico. I mean, that seems like pretty
Was
drastic
so
measure.
yeah, was it truly a friend's? I would love to see, again, I know she's not a suspect, but I would love to see who actually went on the trip, because it seems, and look, moms are allowed to take vacations. Moms are allowed to go out and
Oh,
have
absolutely.
fun. This is not attacking a mom to do that.
Nope.
But when you share custody, I mean, there's certain courtesies that you should, if you are an adult human engaging in the best,
For the kids.
attempting to put the kids first, hey, other person I made this human with, I am going out of the country. Would you like to watch these children if you are able? If not, I will have my friends watch them, but I will have all of the information with, emergency
Here's where you
stuff.
can
You
here's
are,
where you can here's where you can contact me if something comes
yeah,
up. And in a case of an emergency, this is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to be at. So if you need to find me, you can find me.
yeah,
And this is, it doesn't matter who I'm going with. You can kiss my ass on that. But this is where I'll be.
yeah,
This is how you can get in touch with me, and just know that if you're not able to do it the whole time, just have the kids back here at a certain time so they can
yeah.
be looked after, whatever it might be. These
That
things are
that's
easy to work out, but she is just being a difficult twat.
yes. I
Thank you.
feel
I'm
like
sorry.
y'all remember Highlights magazine, Goofus and Gallant? She is the Goofus.
Yes. Good Lord, so bad.
no, I never told him about his name. I never told him anything at all. I did.
She didn't have to. Her kids told
You
her.
don't have to tell him who you're banging, ma'am. No one cares, and no one wants to imagine that in their head.
Well, if she was making it sound like they had a chance of getting back together again, because it seems to me that that was the game that she was playing. Also,
Ew.
according to what Zach was saying in his interview, it's like yeah, we've got just it's a bad relationship. It's constantly off and on. We finally got divorced, but I would come over there, we'd spend time. It wouldn't surprise me if they were still having sex. You're going back to something that and at
True.
some point you just go, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. That's always a possibility. I don't know
It
the
it
all inner workings of everybody's little sex life. So
it's a pattern, and it's hard to break a pattern. Believe me, it's hard to break a pattern. It's hard to get, out of. It's not a good place, but it's a zone you're comfortable in. It's not great, but it's the devil you know. And
mhm,
outside's a big scary world, and you don't know what kind of devils are out there, but you're
right.
used to this one, and you know all their tricks.
Yep. And you know when it's gonna go bad, go sideways and you can avoid it.
It's Olivia had called me on the phone one time when we were in the car on Bluetooth, and said, "Who's that?" And I said, "Oh, that's my friend Leo." And she's like, "Oh, who's that?" And I'm like, "He's just a friend," because that was, how
Yeah,
that
he
was.
knew.
So I
She made
assume
it
that
up.
that name came from um, is afraid of her dad. I will just tell you that, in the sense that she will do
See, she
whatever
already
he
just planted the
says.
seed.
Um,
He sounds like a pretty controlling dude.
She just planted the seed right there. Said she's
And
afraid of her
and
dad.
and where is he getting it he sounds like a pretty controlling dude.
From
Again, all
her.
she's told him thus far is that he wanted to know where his kids were, who was taking care of them when she was out of the country, and he would like to vaguely know if, again, as a parent, if when my third daughter's, again, for everyone out there, adult protection does have expiration dates, just for your
Mhm,
knowledge.
it does.
Uh, but he's a good guy, and when he found his wife, I wanted to kind of meet her before they, introduced her to my daughter, and she's great. She's a good stepmom. Now, my daughter doesn't like her right now because she's a preteen and she basically hates
Hates
everyone.
everybody.
But I mean, and I let him meet, my husband, when he started hanging around her. So when it was an odd time. But
This
when
is
I
what
got my
normal
head
people
out
do.
of my butt and, let him be a good dad because I figured out he was a good dad, there, you just need to put the kids first. I don't get this crap.
Right. Right. That's and it's hard for people to understand this. Is I mean, my brother-in-law married a woman that had two teenage boys at the time. Now they're one's graduating high school in May, and the other one is being his second year of college or finishing up his first year of college. So their father um would come by on a regular basis, and they would have a meeting place where they would drop the kids off because they could not interact. They were toxic to one another. They were just like fire and ice. It's like somebody's going down. The arguments were always heated. They would just avoid except for here's a kid, here's the kid, this is what's going on. They might exchange emails because she didn't trust talking to him on the phone, those kinds of things, but she always wanted to have a relationship with their father. And at one point he decided that he was going to stop paying child support, and then no show, would not hear anything from him. And the last that they could tell is that he was homeless somewhere. and they have not heard back from him. I think the youngest, his youngest, heard back from him like on his birthday, and that's the last interaction that he's had with him. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just
Parents
don't
are
get how this police officer goes with he sounds pretty controlling. Again, she hasn't given any evidence. The
it's all her
local
word
county,
against.
well, but the local county didn't give her the protection order. You know, thus far, he hasn't, like, he checks my emails all the time. He put in a keystroke counter. I found, these things on my phone that track my, you know, uh,
She hasn't even given him
location.
this. She hasn't even
I
given
mean,
him this
it's
at this point.
well, and that's what I'm saying. How is it 6 minutes in when she's only given him vague something kind of blow up happened in
Around
Christmas Eve,
Mexico.
and then he got pissed off that my friend was watching my kids in my house. I mean, that sounds like normal kind of custody.
Unless he's trying to lead her into saying more,
And that might be it.
maybe. But I doubt it because this guy's an
Or he's
idiot.
dumb as a box of rocks and
So
he's just
then,
clickety clacking.
More than likely, he's dumb as a box of rocks.
Gosh, so yeah, so the whole Mexico thing. So I had to get on the phone with the police department because he wanted to take the kids. He was telling Becky, I'm taking the kids. He started making breakfast at 4 o'clock in the morning. My kids need to eat. Becky said it was the most bizarre thing. It was like he was like Susie Homemaker and like, gonna do his dad thing or something. I did not give him permission to have the kids that weekend, even though we have it's strange how it's set up, but I have full custody of the boys and placement of the boys.
So why didn't she schedule her vacation around his weekend? That
I
would have
don't
made
know.
the most sense to me. I mean, why would she do this whenever she's supposed to be taking care of her kids? No, Leo, Rose Leo, whatever your name is, I can't do it this week. How about we do this next week? And if I can't do it next week, then sorry. Like,
Yeah, because no thoughts were given to the kids. She wanted to go to Mexico and she made that happen.
yes,
Let's be real. The kids were an afterthought.
kids are always been an afterthought with her, from what I can see.
I mean, that's kind of what I gather.
Well, and maybe he's getting those kids up and getting breakfast ready, knowing that they're going to be up at 5:30. Maybe it's 4:50 whenever he's making breakfast, knowing the kids are going to be up in
I
like
was about to
20
say,
minutes or so.
have you met feral boy children? They are up at the butt crack of dawn,
Right.
awake and trying to tell you something about Skibbity Toilet or Roblox or something that they've done. And they wake up full of energy and starving.
Yeah.
He probably knows his children, and they were.
And this other
didn't he-
person that doesn't know. And so that's the other thing that really strikes me as odd. So she's saying 4 o'clock in the morning, but he's standing over her. What's to say he wasn't going over there to cook breakfast for him in the first place? Because this was not out of the normal. The door was unlocked, or he has a key to the place. He comes in, and here's this strange person sleeping on a couch in his living room. And he's like, what the hell is going on? Walks in, sees that his ex is not anywhere to be found. Where in the hell is he? He's waking this person up. What's going on here? I don't understand why you're here, and where is she? And then she's like, well, she's in Mexico, and well, he's in Mexico with he's in Mexico with Leo. Next thing, he's losing his shit. It's like, what in the hell is going on? I'm getting my kids out of here. Here you got like lines of coke laying out on the coffee table. I got kids in the other room. Let me or you got 6 bottles of wine that you went through the night before. I don't know the situation that you walked into. I mean, she's good to paint a pretty picture of him being a complete asshole and her friend being this perfect little saint. But what's to say that she isn't just sitting around and leather biker gear with whips and chains, or who the hell knows what you're walking into. And
Well,
I'm like,
yeah,
I'm getting my
that
kids out of
and
here.
and you know your kids, you know what they want. They might, as soon as they see you and say when you turn on the wash machine, if it's not a big house, say they hear that noise, they hear wash machine, and they assume adults up, they want to come see whoever's up and doing laundry.
Yeah.
I mean, it there are so
So
many innocent explanations, and
for
yet
every
she
little
is
bit.
going with the most sinister one.
Hmm. Building up to it. Building up to
Yeah,
it.
50/50 because only because it's just a weird how it all ended up
Um,
older than the boys
How in the
and
hell does she
insurance
have
things
full
and
custody
state got
of?
involved with them, not with the boys. So there's
the
paperwork on, yeah, not paperwork on the boys. Anyways, so that's always been a thing where you'll just show up and be like, well, I'm dad, I'm 50%. I have rights to be here and pick them up and do whatever I want to
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
And so that was kind of always that part of the relationship the whole
Mhm.
time. So came there, tried to pick up the kids. I tried to stop that. He left that night, and then I'm trying to communicate, figure out what's going on from Mexico with him, trying to want the kids. He's never had the kids overnight before this time. Okay, before I went to Mexico.
Wait, so you're wanting the kids now that you're in Mexico? I'm
Wait,
confused. So
and why is she not letting him? You know why she's not letting him have overnights? I know this. Child support. Because anytime he racks up any overnights, that lowers child support. You dirty cow.
now you're getting it.
Never had an overnight with the kids. His house was never set up to have any kind of rooms or anything. He just lives there in his own little strange world. And we hadn't lived together for
Ma'am, you majored in American
10
Sign
years.
Language. Fuck you.
So we did live together,
Yeah.
up until 3, and then he bought his own
Allegedly.
house. So we haven't
I'm
been
not going to do
living
it.
together, but we've been together and trying to be co-parents or however.
Mhm.
So anyways, then he sends me messages that he's got beds set up in his house and he's got a place for the kids now. And okay, so then I allowed him to have the kids for like the weekend when I was in Mexico. I arranged it with him over the phone. I said, okay, fine. I don't want, I don't,
And then
whatever,
deleted the
just PDFA.
So
messages
that
so
was
we get
that was the outcome of the
kidnapping.
situation. Is it
Yeah. It's so ridiculous. Just wanted daddy's here and got excited. Maybe they were just like, oh, dad's here, whatever. Not
Yeah.
it could have been completely out of the normal, and not out of the normal for him to show up on a regular day. See, she's painting the situation as one, and how if they've got 50% on each side, he's paying child
Yeah.
support. He's paying he's probably paying some sort of alimony on top of that. Plus, he's probably paying for the house that she's living in with the kids.
Yeah.
And that may just be part of it. I don't know all of their details on that. But here's the thing. He's going, I've got a place for them to stay now. And that's
Yeah.
always a big possibility that happened in December. That could have been what the argument was is well, you don't have any place for the kids to sleep. And so he's gone and all right, I'm gonna get it fixed up where my kids have a place to sleep, where they've got, a bed, or they've got, 3 squares, whatever they
Yeah.
tell me I need to do. I'm gonna make this the most comfortable for my kids that I possibly can within means. I gather that he's not
Yeah.
the richest man in the world, so it's going to take a
No.
little bit. God, what a twat! And so
Yes.
here's the officer's questions. He just creeps me.
they take the kids for the weekend?
Fine,
Just get out of my hair. I'm
Fine.
on vacation.
correct. And I'll be back
Okay.
Tuesday, make sure that you have the kids dropped off at school. We'll do this. I don't want to
Yeah.
see you. We're done. Like,
Right.
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, now that sounds believable. See, that's the good part about liars like this, is part of what they tell is the truth, and then it's all the other stuff that they tell is a lie. And where do
Yeah.
you think daughter learned how to lie from? Do you think she learned it from Zach, or do you think he learned it from mom?
So she's so afraid of this controlling, stalking, terrifying man that she was willing to let her children go with them while she's out of the country and couldn't protect them. This violent, controlling, stalking, aggressive man, she's like, fine, just go, just go, just go. Get out of my hair.
Yeah.
Let me enjoy my vacation.
Yes.
Then,
Looks really good.
I tried to be civil about things when he came back. I'm like, look, okay, I just want to talk. We met at like Chocolate Factory, sat down and talked, and I'm like, I just want to be able to communicate about the kids, come up with a plan, a schedule, whatever we need to do that way. And he wanted to talk about a relationship.
Oh, sure. She was just this calm.
Why can't we give this a try?
Do what? Oh,
I said, sure, she was calm.
Yeah.
I have a.
Well,
she was like,
there's a big possibility that they were sitting down at the chocolate factory and they were both calm, and he was like, I want our relationship to work. I want this relationship to work. Maybe not as a marriage, but us having a relationship together is going to be important for the growth of our children. And he may be wording it a little bit differently than I am. I'm suppositioning all of this, and she's probably sounding pretty reasonable to him also. It seems to me like they're having a reasonable conversation, and at some point she's going to give some kickback, and he knows it. It's that negotiation portion of the relationship now, where you have to negotiate every little thing out. It's easier to sit down and have a conversation. It'd be easier if you and I were married and we're going through a divorce. It'd be easier for you and I to sit down and have an adult conversation than it would be for me to have to pay for a lawyer and me have to pay for you for a lawyer. And it's going to be cheaper. And if we should be able to work this out.
If she were capable of that, but I'm guessing she allowed him to believe that they were able to have this conversation. They didn't get anything in writing. And then when the next time came and he thought they'd gotten this all ironed out, she said, there's no court order that says this. What are you talking about? You have to take me to court.
And now he has to get the lawyers involved. And that's where the shared custody comes in, where he's just like, okay, we're going to get it in court order. The judge already did 50-50, but I'm going for the kids, knowing that I probably won't get it, but I've got to make some sort of effort. Oh,
yeah.
Fuck me.
I mean, that's what I'm guessing.
You're not getting me a fair.
Yeah. And right up to his arrest, she was still ending her text with him as XOXO. She wasn't afraid of him. No, she wasn't. We all know this.
Shot and all of all of that, and just several emails from that time on about trying to stay together. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, I just don't feel like I can do this. Like, I'm scared of you. I'm on pins and needles. It's like sleeping with the enemy. I can't do that anymore. I don't trust you. All of it. I mean, I had all the conversation with him.
Sleeping with the
enemy. How I felt, laid everything out. And then.
Oh yeah.
Some time went by. Now we're kind of the end of.
How did the meeting go at the Cheesecake Factory?
Trust me, sweet cheeks, you ain't no Julia Roberts. Just saying.
Though that cop did have a pedo mustache, she should have known something was wrong, ma'am.
Sort of civil, a lot of tears, just really just kind of like
a lot of tears. So how did this meeting end? Well, sort of civil. There were a lot of tears. So if dude is weird, controlling, he would be like, screw you, and I'm fuck out of here. He's not.
Well,
I just thought
she would be, if she were truly afraid of him, she wouldn't want to confront him. She would be terrified to confront him, even in a public place. I'm so sick of her.
I don't know. I don't know if she would be afraid in a public place. I mean, and that may be why they chose a public place. Maybe he's more scared of her than she is of him.
Well, Yeah, because he knows her ability to manipulate things, and that's probably why he said, "Let's do this in a public place where there's all the security cameras, so you can't
Mhm.
pull an Amber Heard on me."
Yeah, so you can't. So you're not accusing me because, from what I understand, is he is already called the cops multiple times on him, and had him like picked up and arrested.
I
And
would not doubt
because
it.
because if you call the cops there for a domestic, somebody's leaving there in handcuffs.
Yes.
If they're not gone, they will be leaving in handcuffs.
I don't want to be back in the relationship. This is essentially where
Sure.
my stance was.
Okay.
Then there was like, several weeks of, I'm having panic attacks. I'm anxious. I can't sleep at night.
Mhm.
This is killing me. And just, all of like the breakup heart
Sure.
stuff,
Mhm.
and I just, kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hurt you. There's no, I'm not, um,
Those things don't add up. He's abusive, yet he's can't live without you. That only happens in the Hollywood movies.
I mean, there is the cycle of the abuse where, it's the small thing, big incident, then the I apologize, I can't live without you, I'm so sorry, why do you make me do this to you? I'm trying to be better, that kind of thing. Like I never meant for
Okay,
this to happen. I'm working on myself. But they had both moved on respectively. Do
okay.
we have, I mean, they did download Zach's phone. Are there texts from him saying like, "Babe, I want you back. Babe, I would love to do you so much.
I don't know.
You make me think of all the Reese's heart testicles.
I could ever possibly want. No
Yeah,
other heart testicle does it for me.
you give me all the boners." I mean, it
Yeah,
just,
I don't know. I don't see her giving a whole lot of people, but hey, you never know what she can do with those lips.
hey,
I want to
we
be able
don't
to
kink
communicate
shame
with
around
kids,
here.
want to be able to get, that, that's what's important. And then, then it would go into, well, you're screwing around, blah, 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 blah. And then
Blah 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 blah.
went into my cell phone and saw a text message from Leo that said like, "Good morning, hun," or "Good morning, love." And so
When was this?
this was, I don't know, I could probably look. Back in April, I'm gonna say.
Okay, so February, March,
And
April.
so she was upset.
So they met in February. They take
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend girlfriend out on vacation to Mexico. So March, nothing happened in March, and here it is in April. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you so far.
Okay.
So we're divorce happens around December, right? And
Okay.
all that stuff, and then we've got January, nothing happens. I guess everything's going smooth. February, uh, she takes off to Mexico, kids. February, March, nothing happens, and here it is in April. Okay, April says she was so upset. Okay,
That because she thought that he was saying I love you and I was saying I love you, and she didn't know this person, and she was wondering, like, she's like concerned, like, mom's dating somebody and I don't know about this or whatever.
so she's talking about the daughter. Got it.
Okay.
Mom's dating somebody. So here we are in April.
So she told him, and then he told me, well, found a text message, and so you're dating.
But so I don't understand. I'm confused now. So if the big blow up and him going total psycho in February while she's out of the country with this Leo guy. So that's February. March, he's chill. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden April she decide that the daughter tells dad that she's dating Leo. I mean, this is 3 months later. He should have already known this, unless he's just that stupid. I don't think
Well,
he's
he's the
that
worst
stupid.
hacker ever. He's my kind of hacker. He's a me. He's like, how do we?
He's a worse stalker too. Good Lord. He's like he's not doing anything in March. I mean, that's like a good time to be stalking. You get like that fresh spring air in your lungs, and
It,
what better time to be peeping in
she's
on
pissed
your
off. He doesn't
crazy
care.
ex. Yeah,
He's
I think
probably
that's what it
she's
is.
because he's moved on, and she's like, "Hey, I'm dating," and he's like, "Okay, good. I'm glad. Have fun. I
Yeah,
don't bring him around the kids unless I meet him."
right.
And she's like, "But I'm dating. Aren't you worried?" No, not really. Don't care. Have fun. I mean, don't get the
Yeah,
HIV or anything, but good luck.
yeah. I'd be with him on that. I'd see it.
Dating somebody and you love them, and I mean, just went into everything, and I'm like, wait a second, we're not upset, reached, crossed lines and went into my text message, like, isn't that what's more important here? And then, so that just started kind
So
of,
what did I tell him? Okay.
I really
But
don't.
she told Zach.
I really don't. I bet she knows because she's the one that told her what to say.
Yeah, again, as a mom with a kid with blended family, 12-year-old girl, actually I have a 12-year-old girl who goes from house to house. Do you know the texts that I get? These people are annoying me, mom. And I'm like, well, they're
Oh
your
yeah.
mom or they're your dad and your stepmother, and you need to be respectful. We have rules for how we treat people, and I won't, take your side with you being disrespectful. So when
Are
she
they
thinks she's going to have an ally, she's like, fine. And then
are
I'm
they
like, I
feeding
love
you?
you.
Are they
Well,
feeding you? And
yeah.
I
And she's
don't
like,
mean
but they're
feeding you
being
candy bars.
stupid. And I'm like,
Well,
well, you know what?
as
You
adults,
need to take a couple deep breaths and you need to be respectful. It's just how it is.
it is
Fine.
fine.
But a 12-year-old, to
They're
be
not the
fair,
most rational.
12-year-old, two bets. What year was this? This
20. I don't know. 2017.
Okay, and did the daughter have a phone of her own?
It that comes up later. Flip phone, which she was pissed off that her mom got her a flip phone.
Okay, did she have an
Christmas.
iPod? Did she listen to music?
I don't know.
Okay, because dollars to donuts, 12-year-olds are in their own world of themselves. So she was probably fiddling with her phone, fiddling with a tablet, or, on an earbud listening to something else. She gives two shits what her mother is doing. So if she heard her mother say, I love you too, which again, things that never happened for 100, Alex.
Mhm.
But I doubt that this was a big thing. Now, again, this lady probably told Zach, hey, I'm dating someone, and we kind of got to the love stage. The daughter probably never came into this. Knowing 12-year-olds, my son is 11, and he is in
I
the
don't know.
perpetual state of,
This 12-year-old seems to be very involved in her mother's business. And
yeah, and
something else is going to happen here. How the daughter has almost no emotion when mom is getting emotional. I mean, someone said, well, some kids, what they'll do is they end up taking the parent role whenever the mother is emotional, like all the
yeah,
time. The child tends to like become dispassionate and sort of takes over that alpha role where they're more on the
yeah,
protect. They're more on the protect mom. But I've also seen, and this would happen with my little sister, my little brother, when my mother would get upset and start crying, they would start crying, but they didn't know why they were crying.
well, and sometimes you just disengage because it's too much. These people are emotional vampires. It's just too draining.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I am checking out of this. I am thinking about Spaceballs or something else. She's at it again. I'm done. I've checked out. Uh,
So that
I'm
means
gonna,
she's
I'm,
getting emotional on a regular basis, because the only way that you're going to
yeah.
become dispassionate is if you see it as a pattern.
Or she's just a 12-year-old and they're generally just in their own little world. Again,
You'll,
either
you'll
she is
see a
the
little
most,
later on.
she's the most observant 12-year-old, and it can happen that they're observant. I'm not discounting kids being observant, but I have noticed if I don't point things out to my kids, they don't notice it. And as far as the emotional and or in-depth noticing of, like, say, my daily life, my kids couldn't tell you what I do half the time.
Yeah. Well, this one can. This one can tell you everything her mother and dad does. She doesn't even have to be
Maybe
there.
she could pick up forks off the floor.
She probably bend spoons too.
Hmm.
She told him something. I mean, she was upset, like, with me. And then,
Yeah.
goodness gracious, this is so much. I mean, I swear I couldn't make this up if I tried. This is just unreal. This kind of,
Okay.
what is going on here?
What's up? I couldn't
So,
make this up if I tried.
no, it's her taking on this cloak of victimhood because her daughter is judging her relationship. Like, oh my gosh, the martyr, I can't even have a relationship. I'm just a single mom trying to find love. It's
Yes,
so hard. My ex-husband's moved on and I can't even find love.
I'm stuck with some guy that has like probably 5 or 6 other girlfriends, and I'm just a piece of meat to him.
But I'm just like a widow.
Just imagine if, and I'm not saying that she did, just imagine if she is the one that deleted him. If you look at it in that aspect, this looks like a very guilty person. Like, listen to her story as somebody that did the deed, and you start seeing it in a totally different light. Everything that she says and all of her reactions make more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see, I would love to have a download of her phone. I would love to have a woman ask her pointed questions. A woman, this is going to sound very politically incorrect. I don't want it to mean a very butch, like, no bullshit woman. Like, when she's like, but it was so controlling. No, he was just asking where his kids were. And your point being,
Right. Because, yeah, I mean, and that was sort of what I wanted to do with this one, was look at it from that aspect. For me, you don't have to, but just know this is how I'm looking at this with her,
well,
as
yeah.
her being the one that actually did it, or knows something about him being
He would,
deleted.
I
And
would,
all of her
isn't he
responses,
huge?
to me, all of her responses, if you view it in this aspect, as imagine this being like a really shitty police interview with her,
Yeah.
and they already suspect her as being the one, outside of all this other stuff that we know happened. If you look at it in that aspect and you see the way that she's acting, the things that she says, the way that she behaves, it makes you go, oh my God, does anybody believe her bullshit that she wasn't involved in this, and somehow let's dig into this deeper. That's why I'm like, just
Well, I
watching
just
it.
can't believe and I think it's because you and I have been exposed to women like this, and I don't know why this cop
Well, it
eating
might have to do with, he has no testicles.
is taking this at face value, because you shouldn't take, even if she is a witness, she is still she's the person that called it in, correct?
She's the person that called in that something was awry, because at this point
So
there's no body been found.
no, but she's the first person on the scene. She's the last person, in effect. She's the first person on the scene. She should be the, in effect, first suspect. She should be the first
Right.
person you have to clear. So
Yeah,
everything should be looked at with,
she shows up. Yeah, she shows up at dude's house because she hasn't heard from him in a few days. They've only gone out on a few dates over a period of
yeah,
3 months. If I'm not mistaken, they've only been like on like 6 dates or something like that. Okay,
yeah,
we're talking about from February to here it is, well past April. We've already established in April there was stuff that happened. So in 3 months, you've only been on like 6 dates.
yeah, and like hell, she didn't know he was seeing other people. I mean, she is probably obsessively checking that Facebook date stuff. My guess is she is Facebook messaging him all the time. I see your profile still up there. Why haven't you changed your status to in a relationship? I'm going to change my status. What's going on here? Do I need to talk to your mom? I thought we were going steady. What's going on here? I'm sure she was pushing for that, like, the dual profile picture where it's like Rosario and what's her face.
Oh yeah, she
I
was
mean,
mad. Yeah.
she does not take rejection well. Again, she wanted a reaction from Zach when she started dating. She didn't get that, and she proceeded to throw a hissy fit and try to ruin him. And then it just, if you were looking for Occam's razor, guy who doesn't know this dude, never met him, but seems to be gathering information because,
His kids
they're in
are
a
involved.
custody battle, or heifer who just found out that he's banging all sorts of chicks and he owes money to a bunch of shady people plus all these other chicks, and this woman is crazy. I'm gonna
Plus
go
she's
with
a
crazy
cokehead.
woman.
Plus she's a cokehead too.
Oh, she is? I don't know this. Oh, that might
Oh no.
explain the unwashed hair. How can you
Yeah.
sign and be a cokehead?
Well,
Sorry for stuttering.
yeah.
Sorry, that was mean.
Which I
Sorry,
did not
Shizzy.
know this until I saw Zach's interview, where it's like, yeah, she started hanging out with some different people and started doing coke and started acting fucking crazy psycho.
Shouldn't she be
This
skinny?
no, cokeheads are not always skinny. Trust me, that's a misconception. Yeah. Oh my
You would think
gosh.
the one reason to do that, you'd be skinny. Well,
Heifer. I love that word referencing women. Yes. Yes. For
I
her,
feel
it
bad for the
fits.
cows, though, because
Yeah. Yeah, bovine problems. I don't think there's a direct evidence of that, but it's just speculation. Yeah, okay. Just like I said,
now I have to
an
watch
open
her when
mind.
she's signing, make sure she isn't stuttering. I'm sorry. Look for the American Sign Language, people. It's just a stutter.
Just a
She's like
stutter.
our former vice president and current resident in chief.
Oh yeah, current diaper in chief.
She was upset.
I love that we're like 5 minutes in.
She calls that.
Right. So that kind of snowballed him into his jealous type stuff. She, what did she tell me?
How do you know that she told Zach? Did Zach confront you or what?
Yes.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
so there was one day, and now I can't remember what day it was, but she's like, Mom, you need to tell the truth. So Zach was like, so you're texting some guy or some guy's texting you and da 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 da. And I'm like, look, and like, I already told you, Zach, that I'm seeing someone. So, I've already been honest and upfront with that. There is no like secrets about it. I said, and as far as I haven't introduced him to her because this is new. Like, there are kids, like I'm being smart about this. This isn't, And so she was upset. She's like, well, I don't know who he is. And da, da, da. I'm like, why are you so upset about this? You know, like, honey, are you going to let me deal with it? And then she's like, well, just show the text messages. Show me the text messages. Tell me that you're not. And like, she was confronting me, like, why are you lying? I'm like, honey, I don't need to show you my text messages, and
Sure.
even if I do show you, like, I've already told you that I'm seeing somebody. You don't need proof of seeing it, and he's standing there and he's just like, yeah, why don't you show her? Why don't you show her? In front of him, of course. And I'm like, no. So she became very upset and confrontational with me about the whole thing.
When did this occur?
That was probably mid-April, beginning of April, before her birthday. Now her birthday. Okay, so this is probably 2 weeks before her birthday. So then, I just got a lot of slack from him about, you're a new guy and da-da-da-da-da, and you're seeing somebody and stuff. Then
You got a lot of shit. He would cut you slack. You got shit from him.
The day, Zach and I had agreed that we were going to split for the birthday. She was going to go by his house on that Friday, the 24th, and stay at his house overnight with the boys. And then her birthday, I was going to be going to his house to have a little birthday party, and then pick up the kids, because she was getting a skateboard. So we were going to go down the trail together with the skateboard, right? Mom agreed to do all that. And so
this man that she's afraid of, and she's got to go down the Oregon Trail with this guy and the kids, this guy that's so violent and she's deathly scared of. It's like, we're talking, Julia Roberts. It's,
it's a contradiction. And any astute police officer, unless he is letting her talk and he's using the peace method, which, he's letting her talk, and then he's going to use positive confrontation and say, well, you talked about, you being very afraid, but you kept going over to his house. You had your children in a situation. What I find fascinating is he hasn't asked yet, and we are 15 minutes in, he's already established that he believes, or at least he wants her to believe he believes, that he is a dangerous, violent man. He hasn't asked, well, has he done anything that would make you fearful of the children's safety with this man? Now, you would think that a police person would ask, well, if he's unstable, if you're worried about him like Julia Roberts, what about the kids? Has he ever done anything worrying with the kids? It's alarming that he hasn't asked. To me,
no, there's a lot of things he doesn't ask. Like it looks like he's already got this guy. That's how he's acting, and I'm looking at it as like, this is her as showing up at the police station. She's prime suspect right here. And if you look at it as her being prime suspect, all of the bullshit that she's talking is just wandering through her head. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever until you put it in that context. Right. But if you put it in that context of her being not the victim, but the perpetrator of this, all of his questions, the way that he's letting her ramble makes sense.
It does, until you realize that he's not going to do any positive confrontation. He's not going to, say, hey, okay, so a lot of this doesn't, okay, he's not going to do the Chandler Halderson where they spent the hour and 15 minutes talking about, well, on Wednesday we watched Jeopardy, on Thursday we used the egg, and then they pull out the piece of paper like, do we want to start this over and tell the truth? They're not going to do that, and this is
what they should have done. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Can I go in? Can I look? I have no chill for this woman. I'll sit down and talk to her.
Yeah. It would. Oh, the tears. You'd be like, okay, enough.
We did that.
No, I value my mental health too much.
Yes.
And
same.
I got to the house. It was kind of standoffish, and I was like, what's the deal there?
What else?
His house on Saturday.
Was ours.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
got to Zach's house
Okay.
to pick up
Sorry.
the kids on Saturday. I know, okay, so the 24th happened. On the 24th, he had the kids, okay? So the kids were at his house. I was at home.
Okay.
Rosalio came over that night
Okay.
on the 24th, helped me decorate the day in the kitchen. He stayed over that night. About 3 o'clock in the morning, we were getting ready to go to bed, turn off the lights in the bedroom.
So I'm curious. This 24th that she says, is this the Christmas Eve?
No, this can't be. Is she
That's why
going
I'm-
back in time?
I don't know. See, now I'm confused because she said the 24th. You're quicker at this, and my computer is only so fast. Find out whenever Rosalio went missing. Like, what month was it? I just don't know these things. I probably should, but I'm a slack ass and I don't remember these things. Because we've got February, she met Rosalio. March, nothing happened. February met Leo. Met Leo. Started dating. March, nothing happened. Nothing.
Oh crap! That's not Rosario Dawson. That's
Yeah.
taking me to. That's
A-
taking
Ap-
me
A-
to.
April. So was it April that she went on this cruise, or was it February? It was February she went on the cruise, right? Yeah, February she went on a cruise. March, nothing happened. And in April she told kid she was dating Leo. And then April, May. What do we got? Yeah, you'd be surprised at what I've seen. It's shocking what people will do. And we got, before she was afraid to let the kids stay overnight with dad, now she lets them and has Leo over. Well, because it's convenient for her now. See, it's convenient for her. I mean, if you say that, he went missing like May or the beginning of June or something, then I'm going to assume this was like May 24th or something like that.
Yeah. So I think this was right before the party. So maybe she was decorating for a little party at her house.
Birthday party, maybe?
Yeah, for the daughter.
That's right. Okay, so daughter's birthday. Let's see. We'll figure out when daughter's birthday is. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Okay.
And my doorbell went off. And I was like, what the heck? So
Possible.
I'm like, that's weird. So I looked out the window, and I looked out my front window, which looks directly out to the main Appleton Avenue. And as I looked out the window,
Or there's a possibility that one of his friends came by, or maybe it was a girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, future girlfriend, or someone that he's dating at the same time tracked him there. Don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, dark vehicle, dark
Yeah,
car.
it would not shock me if, and I'm not saying, look,
Or this never happened. She never saw this.
yeah, I mean, they don't have, she doesn't have a record of this. The only other person is, well, nowhere to be found that could corroborate this, and she doesn't have a Ring doorbell cam of this or anything else that can.
But she already knows that her daughter says that he went over there, that Zach went over there. The daughter, because the daughter was with him. The daughter and the two boys were with him whenever he went over there to see what was going on, because he was just like, what the hell is going on? Maybe I can get some evidence that, that she is involved in somebody else and she's lying. Like she's saying that she's not. So I'm going to catch her in a lie.
Maybe it wasn't about the relationship. It was about substance abuse that he was trying to catch her do, not anything about a relationship.
Possibly,
because
very big possibility. Yeah.
So let's change this around. Let's say she starts getting more erratic. He suspects, certain street level pharmaceutical issues.
Mhm.
Daughter says, "Hey, mom's, I'm a little worried about her. This guy is supposed to come over, I think, but I think he's into some shadiness."
I
He
don't like the
says,
way he's
"Okay,
looking at me, Dad. He sort of creeps me out, and he looks a little bit
yeah,
too
maybe
close
he
at
has
me.
been around the kids." And Sadie's like, "Don't tell your dad he's been around you. Look, this is our secret. He's already been around." When you are dealing with someone with an addiction, uh, that is the most important thing. It is. It's sad. I wish it weren't the truth, but
Normal.
nothing is more important. And look, I lost someone to addiction, and what hurt me the most was that the kids, even the kids weren't important enough. And that was a lot of my anger that I had to work through and had to understand that it wasn't a conscious choice. I mean, it
Right.
was and it wasn't. And I had to really kind of deal with that.
Well, and this is what Young is saying is Zach says that a counselor told him that her change in behavior and mood is pretty consistent with good cocaine use. So maybe he's just trying to get information. That makes perfect sense.
And maybe he's getting worried. I mean, again, you see signs, you're a dad, you're worried, and your daughter says, "Hey," and your daughter's being played by both sides. And when you are 12, you don't know how to not be a pawn. You don't know how your mother is a master manipulator. It, you know, she knows how to push all of your buttons. She's been doing this her whole life. You don't have any. So while your dad is trying to do the best he can, he's not going to be able to undo the Jedi mind trick.
Right.
So you can go over there with the best intentions of maybe seeing if your mom is okay, and your mom will twist it to, "No, no, he was not there to help me, to look after me, anything. He is there because he is jealous and he is mean and he is bad." And you hear that over and over enough, and
You believe it?
because she's the type that she's not going to let it go until you agree with her. She will
Yeah.
pick and pick and pick at it until you're so exhausted you are just like, "Okay, mom, yes, yes, that's
Oh,
exactly what happens."
I remember the struggle sessions. Oh, good Lord, I remember the
Yeah,
struggle sessions of
yeah. So
sitting
I
there
mean,
for
and
hours while my mother would just berate me, like, constantly, like, until it's just like I'm sitting there going, "I know that I didn't do whatever it is you're accusing me of. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I wasn't even there. I don't know anything about this." But to her, you're as guilty as sin, and you're just sitting there letting her get it all out, just letting let the steam blow off until they get bored. And
yeah. And there's no way to and when you're 12, it's just constant and you just want it to be done, and you're like, "Fine, whatever it is, I did it. I don't know. Fine, whatever you say, mom, whatever it is, just let there be peace. Let there be peace." And you become a barometer. You can,
you
if
can
you
see it coming.
have, you become a professional barometer. Like, you can tell when mom's getting stressed, like, "Oh, okay, oh, her shoulders are going, okay, we need to maybe start cleaning, we need to maybe put stuff away, we need to, everyone be quiet. Look, mom's getting a little stressed." Like, you have the compliant, very, goody two shoes kids that become the people pleasers and the me's, if you will. And we become the professional barometers of peacekeeping, where, "Okay, what do I do to smooth this over? Because I can't deal with the stress. I can't do it. I cannot." So the daughter might be one of those where she's fine, like, "Fine, mom, fine, mom. That's exactly what happened. I will say whatever you want me to say. I can't." Or you have the defiant kid where it's just like, "F you, no, sit and spin, mom. It never happened." And they will sit there and they'll, 7 hours later still be sit and spin, don't care.
That was me. That was me. My little brother was a little bit different. My little sister was a little bit different. But me, I was just like, yeah, I've heard this before. I'm a piece of shit.
Well,
I know. I just sit there and take
it affects. I mean, again, I was the type that I have become a professional my mom barometer where, I can still to this day it's embarrassing as a nearly 40-ish year old person, like when my mom starts getting irritated, I start getting very nervous. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's, I start getting into I am a professional like my mom barometer. I can go into that mode.
Yeah, I mean, I had this guy that after my parents were divorced, he came around and I worked for him for a summer. After that, he didn't want me working for him, and it wasn't because he didn't mind me working for him. But my mother would take every penny that I made. Like, he's just like, yeah, this is. I feel like I'm feeding the abuse, and he just was, like, no, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. He was like, because she's going to take it away from him anyway, and just like it's like getting some kid's hope up, and there's nothing I can do to, change that. So,
Yeah. It's just we need. But here's the thing between you and me and these a-holes on TikTok and everything else. Notice we may have had shitty stuff happen in our childhood, but we don't take it out on other people,
nope,
and we don't ask the world to give us shit.
nope, don't need it because I've done it all on my own now.
Well, yeah, but we aren't asking for the world to give us an excuse to be a-holes, and we aren't asking for special treatment. And I
I'm
wish
just good
that's
at being an
something.
a-hole.
Well, yeah, but we also don't use it as an excuse to be big,
No,
giant a-holes to everyone, or like,
no.
don't you know I had a crappy childhood? I'm like, well, you know what?
Everybody has crappy childhood. That's what
Yeah,
childhood is.
it's
It
called the
all sucks.
90s. There was no gentle parenting, y'all. We were latchkey kids. We made our own Hot Pocket, bagel cheese whiz sandwiches and called it a day.
Yeah,
Watched
we were there.
MTV and Power
We yeah
Rangers.
yeah we were the ones that got home from school. We didn't do the after school stuff because we had a younger brother and sister that were getting home. And you were going to be babysitting them. You're going to be looking out for them, making sure that they get home safe. If they haven't gotten home by a certain time and they're not in detention, then call out the hounds. You're going to look for them.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
then, nah, you're pretty much on your own. Yeah. Oof. People
We
forget
had
that.
slip and slides, not
We
lawn
had
darts,
we had
though.
oh we had lawn darts. Yeah, charts.
Oh,
We need to
I
bring back
saw a
lawn
black car
darts.
pull out, and I lived next to a bar. The bar was closed, there's no business because of COVID, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I
So this
saw
is
So she
a black
saw a
car,
black car.
and I'm like, son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
So this is 2020 then. So this is that. Okay. So I was thinking it's 2017. This is 2020.
Okay. So she saw a black car and immediately assumes it's her ex and not maybe just some asshole with a black car.
Maybe went to the wrong house. Maybe it's Rosario, one of Rosario's boys that's wanting, or Rosalio's, or Leo's. One of his boys are like, hey, just go by there, ring the bell. I'll get up and say that
Didn't he
there's an emergency so I can get out of here.
didn't he owe a significant amount of money to people who break your kneecaps when you don't pay them back?
No, not him. He's a fucking angel.
Well, I thought so, but I
He's
was
an
just
angel.
wondering.
He worked for the county. He worked in the clerk's office.
Well, this is all making so much sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Note to self, stay out of Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yes, it's fine.
It had to been naughty. I mean, it was a black car. No, I didn't take a license plate, and it pulled
Convenient.
out, squealed out of there, pulled right past the house, and went down.
And it could have easily been Zach, but here's the thing. She may have never she may have never had the doorbell ring, may have never seen the car, may have never done any of that stuff except that her daughter told her that that he went by there. And initially she told mom that she saw a videotape of it according to her. And then she's turned around and saying, "Oh, well, I was there with him. He left the kids behind. He left the two boys behind, the two toddlers behind." And then all of a sudden, whenever he comes out with Zach, he was like, "No, I went by there and wanted to figure out who this guy was. It was going to be around my kids and trying to get a little bit of information because we're in a custody battle," which is what screwed him over. Had he never said a
Yeah.
single fucking word, they couldn't have
Did they
admitted
ever
it in
find the
evidence.
video? Did they?
There was no video that I know of.
Well,
From what I
so
gather,
why is it?
and because this is why it's so this is what happens whenever people fucking lie, like her lying about somebody coming up and ringing the bell and all this bullshit. This probably never happened, but
No, I
she
know.
knows that daughter was there that night. Daughter knows that what dad saw and what dad did, and mother has to find an excuse of saying that she saw it and not that the daughter saw it. So she's making up this fucking lie that just builds, and then another lie on top of
Yeah,
another lie, and you hear
it's
all these
just
lies
none
come
of
in.
this was. Uh, what kills the I don't know, the curious person or the logic person in me is that none of this was checked out. And I swear to God, I feel like he's trying to get me a layover in Dallas and then one in Wisconsin and then one in Wyoming to get me finally to New York. He's like, "Well, looks like we don't have a seat there, but let me check one more thing.
Yeah,
Do you need 2 seats? We have a seatbelt extender." And canceled. I'm so sorry, ma'am.
it's a double seat. You only have to pay for one, but there are 2 seats.
Are you okay with flying in the bathroom?
Yeah,
I'm
it'll
just
work. Just constant.
I am just
Yeah.
he needs a clackier keyboard. Just get the old typewriter out. I feel like we need
No,
the old
that's a Logitech. I've got a clacky keyboard. That's a Logitech. I can tell because of the colors on it.
What way is that? Freaking west, I think. And that would have been
Does
the
he
way
have a
that he would
swollen
normally take
forehead or is it just the angle? Because now I want to make fun of him.
It's the
I was like,
angle.
"Oh shit." And Rosalia, I didn't tell him that night, but then later on I did tell him, but he was like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "You didn't tell me that you saw the car." I'm like, "Yeah, you did." So then I was like, I had the feeling like that was that, like it was kind of apparent. So I kind
He's
of,
all right to
had
have
that feeling. Then that
feelings and
morning,
suspicions,
Rosalia
but
went out
not
to his truck.
him.
And then he came back in and he's like, "Hey," he's like, did I go out to the truck last night?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, because he's like, my allergy med is in the middle of the console, and I usually keep that in the glove box. He's like, and then there's something else that's missing, or that's
That's
Wait, she
double
said
hearsay
his-
from a dead guy,
Yeah. So
allegedly.
his allergy medicine was in the center console. Allergy medicine.
Okay, so we are going from Zach was there to spy on them, to peep through the window and videotape them, to Zach was there and he was looking for prescription bottles when he could just as easily have taken a photo of the registration or the license plate and looked up something there. Why would he have, gone to finding a prescription bottle to find his name? That,
No, it's allergy medicine. Allergy medicine. It wouldn't be
well,
anything that was illegal. That was
Franklin
in there.
Delano Roosevelt used the Colombian marching powder right before the D-Day address
Why
to
wouldn't
clear
you?
his sinuses.
Hey,
There you go.
that's what I would do. I mean, what's wrong? What's wrong with a little bit of a Colombian get me up in the morning? I don't know. I don't
Nothing
understand.
like some nose clams to wake you up.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing like that. They have found no formal custody agreement, so she cannot keep the kids away from him. He cannot keep the kids away from her. Exactly. When she starts talking about having custody agreement or agreement to do X, Y, and Z, she makes it sound legal, but it's not. Of course it's not. We
Well,
know a lot of this stuff isn't legal.
we know, but the officer again isn't
He isn't researching.
interrogating her.
He isn't he
He's
isn't inspecting. He is not, like I said, he is not looking at her like she is a victim. He's looking at her like she's a witness. Everyone's saying victim. I said, no, he's looking at her like she's a witness to this crime. Like
but
she's
even
saying
as a
things like she
witness,
was here.
well, did you see the interrogation with the Gareth Purse house, the guy, the roommate guy? I mean, they were harder on roommate guy, little shaky, poor. Okay, to be fair, he did have like an entire pure romance catalog cabinet, and I would have asked questions about that too,
Yeah.
but I mean, they were like, "So why didn't you go up there? Okay, what was going on?" I mean, they were asking questions. I mean, this guy's just like, "Okay, continue." And and then I feel like I'm in Wayne's World, or no, what is it? Dude, where's my car? No, and then we no.
Yeah. Oh, oh, jeez. She's so disgusting.
Messed around in there. He's like, and it wasn't me. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, if you're telling me your ex was here possibly, then I think he probably went in my truck. And I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah. All right, so that was that. And so he just kind of left that, and then I don't know if then the next day was the birthday. So I went over to his house, had the little skate party thing, and then took the kids back to my house. He invited himself.
Now notice where her hands are the whole time. Notice her posture, notice where she's sitting, everything about her behavior. Everything about her behavior. Just something's, and you'll see it later on. It's not going to add up. You'll see this drastic change in behavior, which you'll just wait. You'll see.
And his family to come over to my house for the party, which was not really the original plan. So he did anyways. And then, I agreed because he was excited about her aunt being in town, so I let everybody come over. Okay, fine, we'll have cake and brownies again.
Okay, fine.
While we were there, I mean, like I said, when I got to his house on Saturday, she was standoffish, that she didn't really want to like hug me or touch me or anything. And then Saturday at her birthday, she was upset and like kind of.
So Teen didn't want to have anything to do with her mom because she was there with Dad that night and saw Mom with this guy, and Mom is screwing this guy, and she is probably telling Dad a bunch of different stories besides that. Go figure.
Visibly upset with me and like, kind of crappy with me.
Mhm.
I got her a flip phone for her birthday.
Mhm.
She lost her mind. She was mad as hell at me
For getting her phone?
for getting her a flip phone.
Oh.
Okay, so then now I'm already the worst person in the world because whatever and now the flip phone, right? So she went off on me like, I don't want to be here. You don't want me here. You don't want Dad here, and just like
Probably because
Yeah.
she was being a shitty heifer. She was probably being when she was probably making an ass of herself. She was probably like, okay, we'll do this. And she was probably being a total butt monkey and
Yes.
making it about her. And, instead of this being her daughter's birthday, can't believe you made me bring your dad over. I can't believe this. Look what I'm doing for you. Do you see how much I'm putting up with for you? Do you
Yeah,
see that I'm letting your dad?
Yeah, I'm letting your dad come over, your aunt, your dad's sister come over, your dad's sister's husband, they're all coming over. I'm not talking about her body language. I'm just talking about it. I'm not being body language expert. I'm just talking about just pay attention to where her hands are at, her 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 behavior, the way that she's speaking very matter of fact about all these things. You have to realize this is Rosalio is missing, completely missing. She's suspecting the absolute worst. Like he's missing.
They,
She's assuming
yeah,
that he is dead, and this is her behavior right now.
I would be. I am not good with blood to begin with, so it's kind of pretty good that I didn't end up being a surgical technology nurse or a phlebotomist.
Yes.
Things that probably wouldn't have worked out in the end. But even if I was tangentially related, I'm the first person on the scene. I'm going to be flipping out because I'm going to think that the cops think it's me. So I would be like, look, y'all, y'all, I don't know where the hell this man is. I don't even look. I invited him into my house once. I'm pretty sure he is dating like all the other chicks and he is into some shady stuff. Okay. Look, and he's not that really good at lay, all right, allegedly. Okay. But you can look at my phone, you can look at everything. I would just like get the hell out of here. This is some scary stuff. And don't ever mention my name and let me leave, please. I never want to be mentioned with any of this stuff. This looks like something from like Godfather, please the hell get me away. Like that's how I would be. And she's over here
Right.
like, well, it was pretty
Well,
bloody, and to the right and left of the dehumidifier, there was pools of blood, 80 degrees to the northeast, and I'd be here like,
but here's this is why I'm saying it looks so sketch, is because she's doing an interview with the police. This guy is missing. She just walked onto a bloody scene. And this is what she's saying. This
wouldn't she
it,
be saying, who's calling his family? Does anyone know where his parents are? Look, I don't really know this guy, but someone needs to be calling his family. I don't know,
I
like, is
dated
any,
this guy a long
she
time, but
hasn't,
no, she's sending the cops after her husband.
it's 20 minutes in and she hasn't asked, hey, has anyone found him yet? I mean, did we look inside? Did you see anything? Did they look him? Is he shot? Is he stabbed? Did he, I don't know, have a super nosebleed? Did he try to shave his nether regions and something happened? I mean,
Is he in the bathroom somewhere? I mean,
yeah, I
because
mean,
apparently she just looked in. Okay, I'm just saying this. She looked in, glanced around, opened up the door, looked around, and hollered out for him. She apparently didn't go in, so she has no idea. He could be taking a dump for all she knows.
yeah, I mean, now that I
He could
think
be.
about that, the juxtaposition of what I would be doing versus what I would be asking for a lawyer. I want a lawyer now. I do not want to talk to you. I don't know what's going on. Where is this dude? Did you
I
find him?
saw
Is he
some
shot?
blood. Did he kill somebody? And
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. But immediately she's assuming that Rosalio's dead. Rosalio's has been deceased,
That
has
is
been deleted, and her husband is the prime suspect in this.
you know what? That is probably the most suspicious thing is that she has not yet once asked where he is, what's going on. I think that might be the most damning thing right now that I've ever seen. Are you frozen or oh, okay. I didn't see you
No,
blink,
I'm
so
just
I was
listening. I'm just listening.
so
Yeah, no.
uh, now that I'm looking at it from your perspective, I hadn't even thought of that, but I come up to someone's house that I'm casually seeing. I see giant pools of blood. I call the cops. Probably the first thing when I sit down, I'm going to say, hey, Do you guys find out what's going on? I just would like some answers. And then when they say, well, we're going to have to Mirandize you first, I'm going to say, I'm going to exercise my right to talk to my attorney
Exactly.
because I'm
We're
not an
gonna-
idiot. Because when you Mirandize me, that means you think I'm guilty and I don't trust you people. But
Most people do not want to think that someone they care about is unalive. That is why they have stages to grieve, and one of them is denial. But here's the thing: she's already assumed that he is deleted. She has already given the assumption that he is no longer alive. They, first of all, even if, and I'm just throwing it out there, even if he is he is deleted, how do they know? Because they haven't tested the blood to determine if it is his. They haven't determined how much blood there was. They don't have a body. Could it be that he deleted somebody and took him out of there? I mean, she may have been dating a serial killer for all she knows, but immediately she's going to her husband is stalking her, and this guy is missing, and that's got it. My husband had to have something involved in this. I mean, it's like I said, it just doesn't
it
add up.
just, okay, in a world where we had competent police officers, none of this would make sense. If you and I, not police officers, and just people that rant on the interwebs, can pick this up, when do we get our badges and our little chainy things? I want a badge. No
You
one
want a
should trust
lanyard?
me with a taser, as I've stated before.
You could always be what was it? Attorney generally Esquire. Yeah, that was what it was. Oh, you'd have to watch MG from last night. The soft sit had one of his friends come in to represent him. That was eternal attorney generally Esquire. It's like, are you barred in the state of Georgia? And he's like, it's like,
Well, I'm not
well, let
this
me tell you
barred.
right here. It was just like started going off about the soft sit stuff, and she was just like, okay, we're done. Shut the hell up. She was awesome. No, we'll get back. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're.
Honey, what is going on? What happened? You were fine
This is going to be an
yesterday. What happened
eight-parter.
today?
You realize?
Then she started. Oh, so then she's like, well, can I just stay overnight at Uncle Josh's house with Aunt Zeta, which is his family. And Josh lives in Sheboygan. And I'm like, okay, that's fine if you want to stay with your aunt. I get it, go ahead. So her birthday night, she did that. And Zach's like, can I just talk to you? And I'm like, well, can your family be here? Like, I don't want to talk to you alone. And that was one of my things about talking to him was I didn't want to talk to him in my house anymore because the last incident, he pushed me out of the house and locked me out. So I'm like, no, if we're going to talk outside. We're whatever, that's fine. I'm like, but why can't your brothers be here? And he's like, ooh, can we just talk? I'm like, fine. So then he's like, then he starts describing what I was wearing Friday night. And he's like, see a pink tank top and you were listening to that song, weren't you? And I'm like, what song? And then he's like, tells me the song that we were listening to. And he's like, he's like, let me see. He's like, let me check your TV. It's got to be on the phone or it's got to be on the TV. And he's like, if you're listening to it, let me see the history. And I'm like, no, you're not going in my house to see the history. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I just see things. I know things, I can tell when, I've told other people like ESP, like type things. Like I've told other people that they're going to.
I doubt that. He's probably. I would say that I've got a feeling you're lying to me because I know you. I've known you for the past 12 years, and I know when you're lying to me. So come clean.
It's just no. This sounds too detailed. Again, if my ex had come up and he genuinely in my own house where I felt like I was safe, genuinely when I thought I was safe, I was very vulnerable. I was with someone else. We were maybe intimate or nose clams, whatever.
Hmm.
And he was able to tell me what I was wearing and what I was listening to. I would feel violated. I would feel
Yes.
sick. It would be gross. She's saying it like almost flippantly, almost uh, with doubt, almost
Yeah.
sarcastically, almost it's very flippant. It is not, again, for someone who has lived under a very controlling person, and my experience may not be everyone else's, but you become a shadow of yourself. You aren't this forthright person. You are always, thinking, okay, what's going to, before you say something, before you start something, before you even have a thought, you are thinking almost 5 steps ahead. What is going to bother this person? Is this worth fighting over? Am I going to even bring this up? Is this even, I mean, every single thing you do is just, is
Question.
this worth it? Is it worth it to start a fight? Do we even want to do this? Can I just deal with this without causing conflict? And you learn to be quieter. You learn to be, it's not this attitude, it
No,
is all I can say.
it
I
is.
can't put it into words, but it's not
I
this.
I think anybody that's gone through what you've gone through, yeah, they understand exactly what you're saying.
And that's why I am who I am now, because I refuse to ever be that person again. And that's why I
Mhm.
say, look, any one of you in chat that are feeling or resemble any of that, get out of that relationship. I know it is going to be hard. It seems really, really scary. It's the devil, but there is a
But,
whole world out there.
oh my
And
God, and it's so big and it's
and
so
it,
it's so
and it's
beautiful too.
so welcoming, and there are so many opportunities, and you are not broken. You are not destroyed. You are not, whatever they have said, whatever they made you feel about yourself, you are not those things. You can become, well, not Mo, because that's me, but you can become someone else, and then you will look back and you won't feel like a shadow anymore. And it will be,
Exactly. You become your own person at that point, and you don't need
yeah.
somebody else to define you. If you need someone else to validate your existence, then you need to step away from them because you don't need to have anyone validate your existence. All I'm saying is the horror movies I've seen, I'm not squirmish with blood, but I would even be more emotional than she is right now. The possibility someone I knew was missing. That's all. Missing.
Well, yeah.
At this point, missing. That's it.
Missing, and the fact that I would most likely assume that the police were looking at me as a suspect, because I'm
Yeah.
that type of person that always perpetually feels guilty. So
it,
it's the
it,
Catholic in me.
that
So I'd be like, oh shit, how are they going to pin
because
this on me?
I was going to say that's the Catholic in you. That I had a friend of mine that used to say, he goes, it's fine. I was born guilty. I'm Catholic. It's just,
I'm recovering, but I'm still perpetually guilty. I'm like, oh crap, how are they going to pin this on me?
exactly.
Gonna meet their somebody, and they do, and then they're together forever, and so I just get these visions, and so now I have this vision, and and you're there with him, and like just basically explain the entire night, and I'm like, how would you have known if you weren't? Now I have a big deck.
So, do you mind if I fast forward past a lot of this stuff?
No, that is totally fine. I
Okay,
don't think I
because
can listen to her create fantasy world. I mean, I'm sure it's a beautiful, rich tapestry of
it
bullshit, but
is, but it
it's
gets it
kind
get
of,
this. I want to get to the part where she like breaks out her phone and really starts reading everything off of it.
because Nick's also going to be doing
Because
this
it
as a
just
fundraiser, and I don't know how much Sadie I can actually take in a day.
Oh yeah, where is it? Because she really breaks out her phone at one point and is just reading off of it. 58 minutes in, yeah, somewhere around in
Well,
here.
where was the part
This
that she starts talking to herself?
it, he actually leaves the room at some point, and it's probably around Yeah, I think it's around there.
We'll need to get timestamps at some point. We'll go through and it'll be like the Zapruder film. We are going to analyze the shit out of this.
Yeah, so and then I'll just pause, play, pause, play, pause, play, pause, play. Pause. All right, we'll pause it for a
Even the
second while it
computer
catches
is
up.
like, do we have to?
Do we have
Like,
to tolerate this psycho? She cray. First time seeing it, the only time I will see it. Oh, well, I understand. Trust me, there's an hour of her doing that same shit where she is just accusing of Zach. All right. That's what, and now, see, this is why I wanted to go back and watch this with somebody else, because it was going to help point a lot of this stuff out that I was missing before, because that's what I was missing. Like I
well,
said,
yeah,
something was so disjointed. It's not
it,
sitting right with me. And that's what
it
it is.
really,
Dude is missing, and her concern is all about her. It has nothing to do with him being gone. Nothing to do with it's like
yeah,
it's
that
like
is a
she's
real disconnect.
already decided who this person is that did this, and that's what
That
makes me
is
suspicious of
so
her.
odd. It really is, because you would think anyone would be really worried, like what, at least even ask, situationally, once in a while in the interview. Gotta love the Thor hair.
Yeah,
Hey, have you found anything out? Do we know anything? Did you find like a leg or a foot or a peen? I mean, did we
body, or
find anything? You
do you
know,
know that this blood is theirs? Do you know what it
uh,
is? Do you know who
how
this
long does
is?
it take to find out if this is his blood? I mean, have you contacted relatives? I mean, what do I need to do? Do you need to fingerprint me? I've never been in the house, but I mean, I touched this, that, and the other, you know, but I didn't go in. I mean, hell, they asked more questions of Sarah Boone's ex-husband, who was smart enough not to go into the effing house.
Yeah. Okay, so here's she's giving some descriptions here, and I almost forgot I did not present this share screen. So she is at this point she's given she's starting to go through the statement. He's already printed out the statement. This is all of her statement, and she's pointing out things and making changes, correcting errors, and all that kind of stuff. That's what this is right here.
Oh,
So she's already made all of her statement. So if you want to go back and watch her statement, we've just fast forwarded past about an hour and a half of statement. All right, she has not cracked a single tear, nothing, not a drop, not a peep, nothing. Okay, nothing, complete zero.
Zaleo sat here, over to this side, the table
She's
was
just
moved all the way over here.
Well, this is
Like, it's not up against the right now.
this is very
You
important.
can just tell me now.
Third page turn.
okay. And they generally do have people draw out the scene.
Here's the thing. She never went in. Keep this in mind. She's been to his house, but she did not go in. She didn't inspect the bathroom. She didn't inspect the bedroom.
This is so.
She looked in the living room, and that's as far as it went. This is where it really starts making me even more suspicious of her. Like, maybe she didn't do it, but she knows something. Like, I find Murdaugh's story a hell of a lot believable than hers of coming
Yeah.
upon this scene. Oh, wait, maybe this is the part where she's talking to
You have a
herself.
pen? Did you give me a pen? Oh.
Oh, here it comes.
All
Here
right,
it
I'll
comes.
let you read through that, and then I'll come back in a couple minutes. So it's 3 pages long. I apologize, but I'm gonna give you a pen too, because if there's something misspelled or something I need to change, just circle it.
So she's constantly checking her phone and constantly checking texts or messages of some sort.
I could, if she's away from her kids, I could sort of get that, but thus far,
Her kids in
her
the other
daughter's
room
with
being
her.
I'm
questioned.
just gonna open up. So
Okay,
these
where are
guys
her
come in here, go
twins?
over to the house. I'm gonna talk as soon as you guys out of here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like, no
and
concern.
we gotta get the messages off her phone.
She wants to talk to her dad so bad too, and I'm like, I'm trying to like keep her, and I don't know how to like, you know, I told her, I'm like, we have to be honest, somebody could be hurt, somebody's dad, you know, like, trying to get at her from that angle, like, I just want to find him, just want to figure out, like, whatever, I'm like, you might have some missing puzzle pieces that, you know, I don't know about, maybe you can help figure it out, you know.
She's
And then she
13,
just kept-
right?
She's 12.
12.
Yeah, and
So now she's about an hour and a half in. She's kicking back more. She's holding her hands over her stomach, and almost like getting sick, kind of acting. Like you just see this change of where she's sitting up. She's being very matter of fact. Point A, point B. He did this. He did this. He did this.
Well,
He did this. There was this, and then we did this. And we did this. When this went,
now
when this
she's
went,
bringing in another variable because as much as she's browbeat her 12-year-old, she's still a 12-year-old girl who could just as easily say, sit and spin, mom. So this is the part where she's hoping that years and years of browbeating and whatever she's done, that this is going to
pays
go to
off.
plan. You know, this is the part where this is, you know, a gamble. At least in my opinion. I mean, you can rely on yourself. You can spin your own tail, but when you bring another person, especially a kid in, you are throwing a wild card in, especially a 12-year-old that you got a flip phone. You should have got her the iPhone, mom.
Should have got her. Should have got her that Samsung Galaxy 10 or whatever it is now. I don't know.
Spoiler alert, she got an Apple phone.
Eventually.
she kept saying, Mom, I know stuff, Mom. And I'm just like,
She wouldn't tell you.
please wait. Well, she did a little bit, but
See,
you know, like,
and her daughter hasn't. She keeps alluding to this, and then her daughter comes in and says the exact, almost like verbatim that mom says. It's just so fucking screwy.
like I don't know. I just want her to tell you guys.
Oh, I'm gonna talk to her.
I don't know. She'll probably tell me some stuff. Like she told me about the registration. She told me about the videotaping. And she told me to change my password. She told me that he hacked into her school computer. She told me, he can hack. Then she told me on the drive here that he can pick locks. I said, how do you know? She said, well, because he lost his key to his house and he picked.
Well, Jesus Christ, I can pick my lock too. It's not that freaking hard. Jesus.
Okay, I can't do any of those things, but
Sweetheart, you can watch a YouTube video in like 10 minutes, figure out how to pick a lock. It's super easy. It really is. Like you can pick bicycle locks, the little combination locks, all that kind of stuff in no time at all. I used to do that whenever I was in like junior high. Like, come on.
okay. Remember, Shizzy, we are at opposite ends of the how to deal with interesting mothers. You are the sit and spin, and I am the goody two shoes. So there's
We'll meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. He asked her for the house key, which I took from her just now. She's like, oh, Mom, I found the house key. I'm like, did Dad ever ask you for it? She's like, yeah. I'm like, when? And she's like, not that long ago. And I'm like, why didn't you give it to him? And she goes, because I told him he didn't have a reason to have it. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, do you think he took it and made a copy? And she's like, no. Okay.
All fingers pointed at Zach.
All right, I'm gonna.
All fingers.
I'll get back to that once.
Yes.
Detective Vinny's done with the diagram. Okay. So I'm gonna grab if it's cool with you and sit down and have a conversation. Okay. So first thing.
I think this is where she does her little. You just fast forwarded.
So what corrections you said? Oh,
This is a different officer.
Oh, is this bad cop? Please let there be a
No.
bad cop. No, of
Oh
course
no,
there's
there
not a
is no
bad
bad
cop.
cop. This is just a different cop.
Oh,
He's
maybe
this is
he's
the
gonna
one
get
that's
her.
this is the one that's doing the diagram of the
He's gonna get her a flight to LA. Okay.
so he's figuring out her seating.
oh, okay.
He's like, would you like the chicken or the well, we don't have steak. The beef-like product.
Would you like the chicken or the ravioli, the cheese ravioli?
Yeah, I'm changing on all these.
This is her statement portion of it. She's reading over the statement of all the stuff that she said,
Where was?
The second page.
verbatim from her phone.
There's just one little line that says I reported this to Greenfield Police.
All arrows. She's turned all arrows to him. Like he is main suspect. He is one.
Yeah. And they
And her stomach is like all of a sudden, oh gosh.
because she's
Do you know what
realizing
Zach's account is on Amazon?
Daughter.
Do you know his login and stuff?
well
No,
that
it
and
was just on
she's
it was the
probably
app that was on the
realizing
burner phone.
that she is
And
not
so I'm
shown
just
any
like-
concern for Rosario.
I
And
just had a feeling like he's tracking me. There's way too many coincidences that he knows where I'm going or when I'm going or where if I'm
And now
leaving
the
or
waterworks
that I
are
don't come home
happening.
at night. And then
Yep.
I have
Now
people
the
that
fear
are
is
trying to tell
showing.
me that you're not at home.
Have you checked your car?
I did. I had a mechanic friend look it over and check it over. I just didn't take it into like a place.
Right.
But the fact that I found this burner phone in my car, I'm like, well,
Burner.
if you had a tracking device on me,
Oh, so you
Why
just
would
found
you
this
do a
thing
burner
that the
phone?
car was under the seat or something?
yeah, you put it under the.
So you can just
Car
track in the
seat.
burner phone?
He used the burner
It was
phone
on
to
the
track,
side of the
yeah,
car seat, ma'am.
third
I'm
burner
gonna
phone
need
that
you
he
to
had,
lie
'cause I had
to
already
me.
had the second burner phone that he had. That
Oh, he has a
given to
second
my
one.
daughter.
A burner.
I know it's
Yeah.
confusing.
She doesn't know what a burner phone is.
Is that third
Ma'am.
page?
Yes.
You can just tell
Many
me now.
spy
Third
movies.
page Germantown, not again, not Greenfield.
Yeah, she's realizing she hasn't asked about Rosario once. And throughout this whole interview, she doesn't
I didn't
ask
really walk in. I just
where
opened
he is.
Well,
the blind,
and she's
the last kind of bottom.
She
Yeah.
she has not asked once where he is. Have you
No.
found a body? Have you checked with this person? This is one of his friends. Have you talked with this person? This is one of his friends. This is one of the persons he hangs out with. This is the gang that he hangs out with. These are his crew. These are his people.
no, and no cops were thinking were asking, hey, do you know anyone he hangs out with? They were just like, yep, Zach sounds good. I want to
Zach
go
sounds
home
good.
at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
It is near breakfast time. I would like
we
to
will
go
have
home now.
we will have this guy convicted before noon. This is like
It sounds-
CSI Miami.
I know. I feel like Fry. I feel like Fry is like, I found the bacons.
I opened the blinds.
Yes.
I didn't even step in. I just opened the blinds, pulled them to the side, and I looked in, and then I saw a ton of blood on the floor, and I just closed the blinds.
Okay, where was that? Somebody checked on all that?
Last page, right at the bottom.
I
I don't know what to tell you. I guess.
Okay, so I opened the
I
blinds.
just opened the blinds, and I
He
saw
says
a ton of blood. Closed everything. Closed the door, closed the blind, just closed the door back up.
All right, Sadie, what's your birthday, ma'am? And your middle initial?
Jay,
And last name.
you don't make me see Jay, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. And your address?
I often get upset when I think of my birthday too.
I mean, and I give a little bit of, yes, there is a possibility she's trying to get all of this out of the way, and now reality is starting to hit in. There is that possibility. But the only thing is all they have is a missing person.
I,
They have
I,
blood, a missing person. What's to say it's his blood? There's a possibility it could be anybody's
so
blood. It could have been that Rosario did something to somebody and
And
has like taken off with the body.
yeah, I mean, again,
She knows
if
nothing right now.
Shizzy, if you walked up to, let's say, an acquaintance or a lady that you'd been sort of
that's
dating's
our German
house,
time as well.
and you saw a bunch of blood around and you called in, exact situation. So
Okay, exact situation that okay. I've been dating this girl, and I haven't really dated her much. I've gone over a couple of times, got a little bit of smexy, and we've
yeah,
we've even gone out of town, and spent like a whole
yeah,
weekend together. Um, and I come over, and I've got like an ex girlfriend that she's the stalker type. She's constantly calling me and showing up at my place. No kids involved, because that would just complicate things.
yeah,
So we've got this going on, and I show up at her house one day, and I knock on the door. I don't hear anything, but I notice the door is cracked open. I open up the door. I holler in. I don't hear anything. Door's unlocked. Yeah, I'm calling the cops right there. I'm not even examining. I'm calling the cops right there.
okay.
Like
Now change that
something's not
situation
right.
slightly. You see a bunch of blood there, then you are taken in there. What are some of the first things you are asking?
First things I'm asking is like what happened? What
Yeah,
is going on? Did you find her? Because I don't want to. I would hate to find out that I show up and she like took a bunch of pills or self
yeah,
deleted herself. Like, I didn't see a body, but that's not to say that she didn't like try to go to the bathroom or something. I mean, I'd be thinking like she
yeah,
tried to harm herself first of
yeah.
all.
Your mind would be going a million miles a minute, trying to figure out what has gone on. You're trying to put pieces together, you know, but Sadie's her already gotten the full entire story. She's figured out the novel. She's gone to the end of the, M. Night Shyamalama movie. She's got the twist and everything.
Yeah,
She has
she's
figured it out, and she is backfilling all of that.
yes.
Whereas it just,
And the police have done
again,
the same thing. This is why it does this right here is what was disturbing me the other night whenever I was watching with David. Like, something's not making sense here. All of this bullshit that she's speaking, it's like, okay, get to the punchline, I guess. Like,
yeah,
where all of a sudden, where is it your concern for this person? Like, that you've been slightly involved in. Like, did you find
yeah,
her? Like, if you haven't found her, is that her blood? Well, we don't know whose blood that is. It's an awful lot of blood. It looks like somebody might have died. It'd
yeah,
be like, do you know anybody that would have wanted to do any harm to her? I mean, I've got a little bit of a stalker ex, but I don't. I mean, I don't even think she knows about this person. I
yeah.
mean,
And
you're
I don't
welcome to
think they
go.
crossed to that
And,
line. There
and I
hasn't been
would
an escalation like
right.
that.
I would say, if you want to go ask them, here's their address. I don't know. I just know that they stalk after me a little bit. I mean, whatever. It happens. I'm not really worried about it. Do I think she would do something like this? I don't know. People are weird. But I mean, like I said, I've only been dating this girl for just a few months, and not
Yeah,
really that often. She might be seeing other people. I mean, I just hadn't heard from her in a couple of days, and usually I hear from her, at least once a month or something like that. We just keep in
yeah,
touch, and I, just sort of wanted to see how she was doing. I show up and she's not there. I see some blood. I don't know what's going on. You're the cops. You need to do what you need to do. Of course, they would be looking at me because I'm a dude,
yeah,
and they would be asking me a lot different questions. I'd be like, yeah,
yeah,
you're speaking to my attorney. Anything beyond this, you're speaking to my attorney. especially if you're looking at me. Heard earlier about cocaine. 2 people in the world have gotten fat on cocaine. Me and Arnie Lang. So
Well,
good.
Lefty, I didn't know about that. I was like, wait a minute, I am
Ah.
confused. I was like, but it does it does raise a lot of red flags now that
And now that you're seeing
and
it,
you yeah, and it wouldn't be something that would immediately jump out at me until I put all of the things like, wait a minute, you were the first person on the scene. You because I'm coming at it from after the fact. And then you start putting all the things in chronological order and you're thinking, wait a minute, no one acts like this. Or
yeah, like your
I
actions are weird because you would think that you would be asking, have you found him yet?
I
Have you
mean,
checked this
because
place? This
yeah,
is the bar he goes to drink at. You know,
yeah.
this is where his mom lives in Mexico, or his dad lives in Mexico,
Well,
and you know,
and it's
this is
so
who he works for.
tangential. I mean, like this isn't even 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. They were basically like side pieces of side pieces. Like they
Right.
were not even
Like
officially
the main
anythings.
squeeze. They weren't even the
Yeah.
main squeezes. Oh my god. I am so
This is making my brainy bits hurt.
uh,
Because I just want to be in there and ask her questions like, ma'am,
ma'am, ma'am, why would you think that it's your ex all of a sudden? I mean, this makes no sense to me whatsoever. Like she like I said, if you look at this as she is the one that knows something about what actually happened, it makes perfect
yeah.
sense why she's deflecting it like this. Oh my fucking god.
And I say that as a person that goes into full on, let's get down to business mode when I am dealing with something very stressful. I'm like, okay, what needs to get done first? What needs to get done second? Okay. And then I will break down after that. I say that with full knowledge of that being an aspect of my personality. But I can tell you, if I walked in on that, uh, that would be pushed to the side. I would be in panic mode because I would
Yes.
believe that the cops would think that I would be the person. And this is she's not in the, sort of Letitia style, gentle questioning room. She's in the interrogation room. She's not in the, sort of victims of violent crime room that Letitia
Yeah,
was in.
now see it would be a different story. Yeah, let me put it this way. It'd be a different story if it was someone I was living with and in a relationship with. Now, if I walked into my house, like say I went to the grocery store, I came home, the door's open, I see some blood. First thing I'm doing is dialing 911, and then I'm getting my firearm and I'm checking out my entire house to see if whoever the fuck is here is still here. And I'm going to be looking for my wife. I'm not going to be worried. I'm going to be trying to figure out where the dogs are, because it could just be one of the dogs got injured. I'm going to be looking, where's my wife's car? If my wife's car is here, okay, her car is here. So that means that she has to be here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's going to be my first thought, and I'm going to check my entire house while I'm on the phone with 911, going, there's a lot of blood in my house, and I'm armed, and I'm inspecting my house, and I just want somebody here with me as I go through my house and try to figure out what's going on. And hopefully I find that maybe one of the dogs like got his leg cut really bad, and my wife just panicked and was, trying to, get him taken care of in the bathroom or something. And I'm just like, okay, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Found my wife. It's just the dog. He's bleeding. We're going to get him to the animal hospital. I would walk through. That would be my like worst best case scenario kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just like the dog is injured. Okay, we're good. But I
Well,
guarantee you, I see blood all over the place or in one concentrated spot, and things don't look right. I'm coming in hot and heavy for my wife, but I know my wife. That's the thing. I don't know my neighbors across the street. I know them, but I don't know them like that. If I walked into that situation, I'd be calling the cops and not entering.
Well, that's like, look, I know it's a trauma response, and I've told Mr. Mo this, but if he is late a little bit or it's a rainy day, I prepare myself for a knock on the door because I'm like, fate, you fucker, you're not going to catch me off guard twice. I'm like, look, I have done this before. I will do this again. I know it's a trauma response. He comes home, but it's the weirdest damn thing. I've told this before, but it's something always in the back of my mind. Like, look, fate, you got me once, but I can do this again. And he's like, you are the most morbid person. I'm like, no, I will not be caught off guard again. Like I know where your insurance stuff is. I know where the mortgage papers are. I know what to do. And he's like, why do you pull these things when I am 15 minutes late? And I'm like, look, it's just a thing. I'm telling you.
Just telling you. Dropping that F-bomb like it's hot. Love it.
Well, look, fate can be an ass.
Yes.
And he likes to screw with you. You think you think you've finally gotten everything sort of like you've got a groove going?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, how about a deer?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck, a deer? Really?
A deer? Really? That's what you're going to throw
An
at me?
attack deer?
Yeah,
An assault deer?
But I've been working from home since
Sure.
March.
No, that's fine.
Working from home
How do you
since March,
ACL
okay.
how do ASL from
Approximately
home?
what time were you at the house? 11 o'clock?
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got there about 10:30. I dropped off the boys, and then I just said, I'm just driving. If nothing else, I'll just drive and turn around and just check and make sure you're okay. Like, that was like the whole thing was okay,
So he's not there. That's all. That's all you know. He's not there. That's it.
No, that's good. It's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You're all right.
Why are you crying?
I was on the phone with Becky.
Becky again.
Because, yeah, this morning I texted her and
Like your only friend, probably because you like.
All right, so
Do
just
some
so
business
Rosalio
together.
and
Probably because she's just as
and
crazy
Jan.
as you, and you
So
both can deal
11.
with each other. You've
Yeah.
probably
11-ish, sometime, 11:15-ish, or something like that. 11. I'm sorry, what did you ask me? What did you
I don't know.
Sorry.
Let's get to the drawing here.
Uh,
We'll fast forwarding through a bunch of
What
this.
the fuck's going on? What? I don't know.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Or you think he'd be like,
I honestly don't know. I'm surprised that.
probably the truest thing a cop has ever said to Sadie. I don't know
Um,
what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
Or,
what do you,
yeah.
so if you call him and we're like, what did you do? And then, what are you talking about? You're like,
So this seems more logical here. Okay, he's asking her some of the harder questions. I'm liking it.
where's Rosalio type thing, what do
Yeah.
you think he'd be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about? Or you think he'd be like,
I honestly
No,
don't know. I'm
questioning
surprised that.
Zach.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, okay,
What do you-
this is where she's.
I'm like, I didn't even say that.
He's trying to find out how Zach.
you know, if he threw a phone in Rosalio's car or he did something, who knows,
Right.
would you be willing to do that?
Sure.
Call Zach.
Okay. We
I
might consider
mean, I
doing
just
that.
don't know. He's gonna be like, what are you talking about? He's very smart. I'm telling you. He uses.
What she means to say is he doesn't know that I'm lying out my asshole, so he's gonna not answer the way I would. See, the story that I've told you is not gonna line up with the words coming out of his mouth hole.
Yeah, he's going to be saying, "What are you talking about?" She already knows because she knows. She fucking knows something's going on. She
Well, again, she has to preface it with he's very smart. He's gonna evade my questions because he's a criminal mastermind.
I'm so fucking frustrated with her because
Okay, question. If we threw
yes.
water on her, do we think she'd melt? Just asking for a friend.
No, I think that you're not supposed to feed them after midnight, and if you throw water on them, they multiply.
Damn it.
See?
Mr. Miyagi gave us really clear instructions and we never listen. I'm surprised they haven't remade that movie with all the crap they're remaking.
Oh, they can't. It's too violent nowadays.
I could go for some violence right now.
Yeah, it's really pissing me off that, especially now that this realization's hit me of this. Like I'm sitting there going, what in the fuck? What? How does she know that he's missing? Unless she knows that he's missing. How do you know that something bad has happened to him unless she knows something bad has happened to him?
Why are the cops, again, big red flag
Not
here.
suspicious of her.
Yeah, big red flag that she hasn't asked any questions about this man who she came upon this, big old bloody. I mean, maybe he butchered a pig, maybe he was going to do barbecue, but I'd be a little curious because I'm nosy. That's why I do newsy news. I like to know all the things.
Maybe he hurt somebody and has run off with the body. Maybe it was the
Yes.
girl he was with the night before. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe she was the girl that was there the night before. Maybe
It
she was
just,
there earlier that night and was hoping that nobody would find it, and then she can show up a few days later. Maybe she was there whenever somebody deleted him and she knows about it, but she's got to give them a couple of days to get the body hidden.
My words and twists them around all the time. I mean, I'm like, I didn't even say that, or
Sure.
just, I mean, it's very, very narcissistic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulating.
Mm-hmm. Or,
What do you?
yeah.
So if you call them and were like, "What did you do?" and then, "What are you talking about?" Be like, "Where's Rosalio?" type thing. What do you think he'd be like? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Or you think
because he
be
doesn't.
I honestly don't know. I'm surprised that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I kind of wanted to. I kind of wanted to be like, what the fuck's going on? What?
Hey, Eris. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean,
listen.
I don't know what he'll tell me.
This woman has tested all the Jesus out of me. I'm no longer saved.
Yes, I'll do it.
I have to go get rebaptized.
Not sure on that one. They would have to be able to tell the blood was older. It would have been dried or crusted over days. Don't know.
Shizzy,
She
I feel like we should interview this woman. These cops are pissing me off. I feel like
I don't think they would like my way of questioning her. Is waterboarding still illegal?
What about instead of doing that, like when people use spray bottles for cats and how I use it for the cats and for Fry?
Stop lying.
We're not talking about that right now. Little Caesar Milan. I am the alpha.
You got to be going in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So when do you want to continue this on?
Let's see. I am trying to figure out what everyone's doing this weekend. I know that Saturday evening, if everyone's not doing something, I was going to do the 1000 stream, but
that's right. You hit the 1000 mark.
I know it is
it's
supremely hilarious to me. Well, It is. It's a
Sounds
little
satisfying.
surreal because my kids rarely listen to me. Fry somewhat listens to me, and then I have 1,000 people that like to listen to me. So
I love it.
it's interesting. So I am very grateful. I am very, very humbled by it, but it's also like, oh, I need to start learning technical things because I have a bunch of ideas and not the skills with which to execute them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I was like, oh, it's gonna get easier whenever I hit 500. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, and I'm so excited and I have so many ideas, but I'm like, all right, to do the thingy, how do I do this? And these lies that they have about these simple tutorials, what they
Sweetheart,
fail to
sweetheart.
understand.
No. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. What do you need to know?
Well, so I am trying to figure out my Stream Deck. I actually took it out of the box, so
Okay.
I do have it.
So all right. So here's the thing. First of all, you're trying to learn your Stream Deck. What else?
Then I'm wanting to do OBS. Because I'm going to move my desk back and put a curtain up, and it's going to look more like Weekend Update if I can. Now
So
my
this way
desk
you
is
can
3,000
you'll be able to
pounds.
control multiple cameras. Gotcha. So you want to do OBS so you can control multiple cameras.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So are you using Streamlabs OBS or are you using the original OBS?
Whichever was first on Google when it said OBS free is what I
Well,
downloaded.
both of them are free. Free OBS does it have a weird looking symbol? Does it have a
It
weird
has
looking?
the little spinny. It looks like it almost
That's
looks
the
like
original
nuclear
OBS.
waste.
Right. That's the original OBS. Okay. There also is a Streamlabs OBS. Okay.
Okay.
So this will help you out. Seriously, if you're wanting to learn OBS, Streamlabs OBS is going to be what I would suggest getting to learn
Okay.
first. And Streamlabs is free also, and
Okay.
but you can only stream to one location, and it doesn't work like Streamlabs where you can get multiple people on. Same way with OBS,
Yeah.
you can't have a panel. Okay, you can
Well,
get one
that's
person on Streamlabs OBS. If you get an upgraded version, you can get multiple people on, but that's an upgraded version. We're talking about the free version. It's completely free. You can
yeah.
stream as much as you want to. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can also do recordings with it. It does have some interface to it, and if you're doing it, I can walk you through a few things that'll help you
Okay.
get set up. Some of it I can't, but Streamlabs, the way that Streamlabs works with it, I can walk you through that also.
Awesome.
If you want me to
Awesome.
spend a little bit of time with you, when are you available for it?
Let me talk to Mr. Mo and I will thank you for that's what I love about this group that we have is that we're
Mhm.
all learning together and we're able to help each other. Let me get back to you on that because my schedule is I don't know if my daughter has a meet this weekend. I love how I am transportation, but no one tells me anything.
Well, and I'll say this: I can give you an easy 2 hour super tutorial, super quick, and it'll lay you down some basics of the things that I
Okay.
learned that'll help you out, and then you can sort of take it from there.
Yeah.
Like getting your Streamlabs hooked up with OBS is no big deal. Getting OBS hooked up is not a big deal at all. I can get those set up for you really super quick. This way I can sit down with you. I can explain it to
Yeah.
you.
That
What I'll
would be
probably do is
awesome.
I can give you a link that'll basically sort of be like a Zoom link where I can share my screen with you, and that way you can see what I'm doing and you can mirror it on your computer,
Okay.
especially if you have
That
multiple monitors.
I only have one right now. It's just it's
It's got a split
get
screen.
well, no, it's just it's a big old it's one that use out.
Yeah. Well, those you can divide into split screens also.
Oh,
Like if you grab your browser, like the top of your browser, and drag it a
oh
little bit
yeah.
over. you'll see
Yeah,
that
you
little
can.
thing that comes popping up at the top, and you'll see one that's
Yeah,
side by side. You put it in the side by side, and then you can view what's going on the other side of the screen.
yeah. I Like I said, I was not lying with you guys when I said I was not lying when I said I am like your Aunt Edith with a jitterbug. That is why it's Mo in the deep end. Because I was like, no, I would have been super happy with a flip phone as a teenager, as a 12-year-old, because I don't know how to do the rest of this crap.
Well, and like I said, I can help you get it set up, and part of the best of it is you learning so that way you can replicate it, and it makes it really easy for you to be able to do um to move on past. You go, oh, I know exactly what the problem is. I know why my
Yeah.
sound isn't working. I know what I need to be looking
Yeah,
at,
and that's what
and that's what I
I've
think is
heard,
more
that
important.
OBS is really, really good for what I want to do with Newsy News, and then StreamYard is good for panel stuff. And so having different things that I can use is good. And I'm good with getting out of my comfort zone now. So I'm just trying to slowly dip my toe into everything and get that knowledge. But
When
I seem
here's
to be,
and take Crime Spies up on this. She probably
yes.
knows Streamlabs better than I do on like getting different things set up.
Yeah.
She'll help you get like your transitions and all those kinds of things
Oh,
up. What I'm going
awesome
to show you
possum.
is like the basic setting it up, and then sort of let you take off from there. And if you're wanting to learn a little bit more, she is, if you've ever seen one of her setups, how she does it, it is absolutely
Oh,
perfect.
yeah, we
Like
have some people
transitions
that are
coming in and
just,
stuff. Yes.
you guys are some, you guys do awesome stuff. Some of you guys, and I'm over here, I just play with wigs and do silly voices. That's what I do.
Oh, you're awesome. No, you'll get used to it. You really will. And once you
Well,
start getting into it, you'll understand it.
I am amazed at all the things that I've already learned. So, being able to just actually have a stream that goes off on a schedule is, for someone
This
who
is
didn't
Mo.
even
This is
internet.
Mo. Whenever it actually works.
Yes! Yes!
That is Mo right there. Whenever it works.
Hey, I got a bunch of subscribers because I didn't realize that Twitter, I was actually responding to Court TV and not Megan Fox. Honest to God, I really did not know that that was going to Court TV,
Oh my
because
God, that's
I
so
didn't
good.
know that that's how the Twitters worked.
Ah, gotta
So my
love it.
famous twat waffle comment was not me being extra bold and beautiful. That was me just not knowing how things work.
Just not knowing. Well, now you know. Now you know. And I am going to. I'm going to do this. I'm going to end this thing for you on an upbeat, like rocking way out of here, so you can
Awesome.
go torture small children. Here we go.